Rematch of a game a year ago between these two teams in Provo. That game won by Boston College 20-3. BYU looking for revenge. A couple of impact players, the marquee players for Boston College, Brian Toll, the linebacker, and quarterback Matt Ryan, each dealing with significant injuries. With more on their status for today's game, here's Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, Matt Ryan continues to gut it out on a gimpy left ankle. An injury occurred in their Week 1 opener at Central Michigan. His mobility may be limited, but Chris and I, man, we saw him in warm-ups. Kid's got some zip on that arm. That certainly won't be limited. Coach Tom O'Brien told me before kick he is not a concern. Not the same story, though, for star linebacker Brian Toll. The junior injured his right shoulder in the first series last week versus Clemson. X-rays, MRI showed nothing serious, but it is weak, especially when his arm is in extended position. Coach will use him in some limited offensive opportunities, short yardage stuff. He won't start, but he may see some time at linebacker.
BC won the toss and deferred, so Ryan Oliger kicks off for Boston College. And it comes down to the true freshman, McKay Jacobson, with great sprinter speed. And a nice return out to the 34-yard line. Jolan Dunbar, their starting middle linebacker, chased him out. 32 yards on the return, so good field position for the quarterback, John Beck. The veteran leading the Mountain West Conference in passing through 2 weeks. He's thrown for 529 yards in 2 games, a 3-point loss, 16-13 at Arizona. And then a 49-24 victory at home last week to get Coach Bronco Mendenhall and the Cougars to 1-1. They were a much better offensive team last week than they were against the Wildcats in the opener. Out of the shotgun, Beck swings it out to Michael Reed, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 41-yard line by Dewan Tribble. For BYU on offense, we noted the impact players at the top of the telecast, but they also have big playmakers at fullback and tight end. The tight end Harleen had 63 catches last year.
That's part of their offensive game, is to get their fullbacks and tight ends involved in the passing game. They have 15 catches coming into this football game, and you'll see a variety of personnel switches for BYU.
Beck threw for 240 yards last week against Tulsa. He hands it off to Curtis Brown. He has the first down out to the BYU 45. Robert Francois, who's in at linebacker for the injured Brian Toll, made the stop. He is in for Toll, and they're also without Ron Brace, their 340-pound left defensive tackle. So Keith Willis, his backup, will play today, and it's a defense that has struggled. They need big performances from Willis and Francois. BC's given up 28.5 points per game in the first 2, but they've managed to win by outscoring Central Michigan and Clemson. Beck throws, man wide open. It's Matt Allen. He avoids the tackle and goes out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. Jamie Silva, the veteran safety, pushed him out, but it's a gain of 24. And BYU crisply on the move in the opening possession.
Well, Matt Allen does a good job of breaking the out right off, but I like about it, Beck delivered the football, Sean, before Matt Allen came out of his cut. That's a veteran quarterback playing with confidence and poise and trusting his teammate to be at the spot where he's throwing the ball.
BYU arrives a confident team after their big performance last week against Tulsa. They ran up 467 yards of offense. Curtis Brown tripped up by the safety Jamie Silva, who came flying up. A gain of 3 to the 31. Silva, their leading tackler for the season. Brown will alternate at running back with Fui Vakapuna. They are a 1-2 punch, and they literally pack a punch.
Yeah, they do. They're good-sized kids, and they look for contact. They'd rather be the hitter rather than the hittee, which is normally the case for running backs. They're always the hittee. They said, no, we're going to be the hitter.
Vakapuna is in there right now with Brown getting a breather. It is a warm afternoon here in Boston on a beautiful September day. The pass deflected and incomplete. Johnny Harleen, the intended receiver. Jamie Silva had the coverage. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
Well, Beck is completing 75% of his passes, and Coach Baziani, the defensive coordinator for BC, you have to be careful with pressure because they get rid of the football. They're not asking their guys to block a lot. You see where Beck will catch the ball and he steps and throws. There are a lot of intermediate routes between 10 and 12 yards.
Saw Frank Spaziani, longtime defensive coordinator under Tom O'Brien. He used the word struggling yesterday to describe his defense. That's been the case on this opening drive. The struggles continue as the Cougars convert on 3rd and 6. On the pass to the fullback, Manasseh Tonga. Larry Anam made the tackle, but it's a gain to the 21, 9 yards and a 1st and 10.
Well, that's what we talk about, impact players, and Tonga is one of those. Is a big body fullback that comes out and catches the ball out of the backfield. See what I like, he caught the ball with his hands, and he's matched up with the safety one-on-one. Safety can't cover a fullback. It's a long day, big fella, a long day.
Eagles show blitz. They come after Beck. He did a good job to sidestep the rush. He dumped it off to Curtis Brown. Ahead to the 18-yard line, Paul Anderson, a safety, made the tackle. Brown also a very good pass receiver. He's their leading receiver for the year, coming in with 9 catches. He was their leading receiver for the season last year.
Well, that's the beauty of the offense. Again, I'm going to harp on it until BC does something. Makes him so hard to defend because of the wide arsenal that he uses. Weapons everywhere, both sides. Throws the ball all over the field, and he throws it on time to everybody, so you can't isolate or concentrate on one particular receiver.
2nd and 7 at the Boston College 17-yard line. The handoff to Tonga through a big hole. Spins down inside the 5, then lost it after he was down by contact. No fumble. Paul Anderson saved the touchdown for BC. But the Cougars determined to prove a point. They looked at this game as a great opportunity to demonstrate they're on their way back among the elite of college football, and they look like it on this drive.
If you prove a point, you'll see right there where Curtis Brown, instead of becoming the runner, is blocking for his blocker, Tonga, and getting a great block on Dunbar, the middle linebacker. Curtis Brown said, I'll help you out.
1st and goal from the 4. Boston College crowded the line. Brown could not break free from the tackle of Robert Francois. This is a defense that put up a big goal line stand in the overtime sessions against Clemson last week. In the first overtime, Boston College had the ball first, kicked the field goal. Clemson at 1st and goal in the 3. If they scored a touchdown, they won the game. But Frank Spaziani's defense forced the field goal and the second overtime, and you saw the dramatics that ensued then. On the delay, it's Brown again, puts his head down and drives inside the 1, but not to the goal line. The safeties up there to help against the run, both Jamie Silva and Paul Anderson in on the play, and a big 3rd down and goal from just inside the 1-yard line. They were perfect in what they called the blue zone, what most of football calls the red zone, last week against the Golden Hurricane.
Good job by Anderson of tackling high so the back could not go over top of him and lunge forward for the end zone. This is man-to-man time. Find out.
Beck keeps it himself, and it looks like he's in. There's a flag down on the play. It is a touchdown if the play stands. So the official along the line on the near side threw the flag.
Offside. Defense number 48. The penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Boston College offside. So a great start for Bronco Mendenhall and the BYU Cougars. John Beck scores himself to give BYU a 6-0 lead. First rushing touchdown of the season for the senior from Mesa, Arizona. Here's Jared McLaughlin to add the extra point. Oldest kicker in the country at 26. Drives it right down the middle. Well, what a drive. 11 plays, 66 yards, capped on the plunge by Beck. Sizable contingent of BYU fans in the house here at Alumni Stadium. Back deep to receive the kickoff for Boston College is Jeff Smith, the true freshman, who last week returned 5 kickoffs for 213 yards, including a 96-yard touchdown to open the second half. You can see he's hiding behind DeJuan Tribble. They're trying to make it difficult for the kickoff team to figure out where Smith is going to be. Jared McLaughlin will kick off. Boston College certainly expected they'll try to kick it away from Smith.
Yeah, you could do the high pooch and force one of the up backs to make the fair catch to eliminate the chances of Smith getting his hands on the ball.
Smith does get his hands on the ball a couple of yards deep, elected to bring it out. He found a hole near the 20 and got 7 more before he was banged down by Cameron Jensen. Their star linebacker is out there on kickoff coverage. So here comes Matt Ryan, the quarterback, off to an excellent start. Both of these quarterbacks entered today's game without having thrown an interception, and each with 4 touchdown passes. Ryan leading the ACC in passing through 2 weeks. 535 yards, including 212 last week against Clemson. Comes out firing to Kevin Challenger, their leading receiver, who lost the football at the 34-yard line. The Cougars have it. Cameron Jensen came up with the football.
If you're BYU, you don't have any, you can't draw it up any better. You have a very efficient offensive drive. You take away the weapon of Jeff Smith on kickoff coverage. You see Challenger right here. Put that ball away. Ball's loose. Goes to protect it. Now that could go to the replay booth. I wouldn't be surprised if the buzzer comes down or the flag is thrown from the coach's pocket.
Well, Challenger fumbled, and you wonder if this will be a challenge by Tom O'Brien if the replay officials don't stop it. Was his knee down before the ball came out?
It's going to be close. I mean, that's close enough to challenge.
It is a Mountain West Conference officiating crew, and apparently the replay official has seen enough.
Yeah, well, if I'm Coach O'Brien, I'm thinking about that flag. There you go.
And he has. Yeah, he waited to see if the officials were going to stop it, but when it got apparent that BYU was about to snap the ball, he decided to use his one challenge you get in the game right now.
Two options on the challenge. Either it's called down from the booth.
Boston College has challenged the ruling on the field of a fumble and recovery by BYU.
Well, we wondered in the opening what would be the emotional mindset of Tom O'Brien's team after that big win over Clemson, and they look flat as a pancake so far. Justin Robinson, Dustin Gabriel combining on the tackle, and Jensen comes in.
Watch the right knee. Let's see if the right knee is down before the ball's popped out.
Ball's out there, and his right knee is not on the ground. Doesn't look like his left knee was either. I think that's a fumble.
It's a good call by the officials, and again, we see people coming to gang tackle and run for the football. Gabriel gets his hand in there and strips the ball away. First man in, secure the tackle. Second man come in and grope for that ball, and that's a good job of groping by Gabriel.
Hard to see the ball from that angle. Here's another angle. I certainly don't see anything that would lead you to conclusively overturn this call. There doesn't seem to be conclusive evidence that they got it wrong. In fact, I think they got it right.
Yeah, it was a good call. It's a bang-bang type of play. Nothing indisputable. I'm sure I get that right about the call.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, BYU.
Well, it was worth the challenge, you think. It's very early in the game, but it was close enough. You don't really want to turn the ball over to your opponent on the plus 34-yard line, but that's what Boston College has done. They were very flat at the beginning of last week's game, fell behind 10-0, 17-7, before they rallied back to beat Clemson. That opening kickoff return of the second half by Smith really helped change the game in BC's favor. And on the second possession, as you see BC losing the timeout, Brian Toll, the question mark with the injured shoulder, is in at linebacker. There was movement along the offensive line and by the man in the slot, Fui Vakapuna. Vakapuna flinched. They'll bring him back 5 yards.
Dead ball, false start, number 1 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
First and 15. Beck handled a low snap. There's a fumble recovered by Boston College. And now BYU got it back. The Eagles had it and lost it. Tom O'Brien can't believe it. Tonga fumbled and Johnny Harleen recovered. Kevin Akins knocked it out, and the Eagles were all over the ball, but somehow did not wind up with it.
You see Akins and McLaughlin come in and high-low him, and you have a chance. Albright has a chance to get the ball, and Harleen, never quitting on the play, is in the scrum for his life, which means he's in the scrum for the ball. And come on, that's a great hit by McLaughlin coming over the top, even though Akins knocked it out.
Alex Albright, the true freshman defensive end, had it in his lap and it squirted out. Harleen got it. Now the Cougars capitalizing. Tonga given a second chance. Taken down by Brian Toll. We spoke with him yesterday, as Rob Stone mentioned. Difficult for him to raise that right arm. Has an AC joint and labrum injury. Difficult to extend. He thought it would be easier to play offense and just carry the ball than it would be to tackle and fight off blockers, but he's out there on defense in the second series.
It's a nice job, and Brian didn't know he was going to play defense until you get it stuffed down your throat. Then all of a sudden he gets healthy. But I like what BYU's doing here right now, going no huddle, Sean. Confusing and creating matchup problems for the BC defense.
You have the BC defense on its heels. Boston College has only one senior on the defense. It's the cornerback Anam. A blitz and a catch. And a flag down on the play. 13-yard gain. Bryce Mawika taken out by Jamie Silva. But there is a flag, and the officials pointing back at BYU.
Legal formation offense. Only 6 players on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Third down will be repeated.
After the walk-off for illegal formation, here's Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, just before kickoff, I talked to Brian Toll and gave him that old thumbs up, thumbs down, like, are you going to be able to go? And he gave me the old shoulder shrug, saying, I still don't know. I just talked with their head trainer just before he went on the field, and he said to me, he is available, he is healthy. It is Coach O'Brien's decision. Interesting sidebar on this, guys. Yesterday, when we met with Brian Toll, he was not on the team's travel roster. The team spends the night before the game, even if it's at home, at a hotel. So all this stuff happening very late for Brian Toll.
As he said, even if I don't go to the hotel, I'm going to dress. And he has. He's come out of the ball game. He tried to play last week after injuring that shoulder in the first series against Clemson. He said he had difficulty just running, even without contact. Wound up going to the hospital for x-rays. He's been told the injury will take about 3 weeks to heal completely. Deep ball too long for Zach Colley. He got behind Taji Morris, and John Beck knows he missed a good opportunity for 6 more.
He did. Taji Morris, new guy in the ball game, not a starter. He's out there in press coverage. Beck went right to it. He's looking at Colley right away, and he gave the old audible at the line of scrimmage, taking his time, making sure he had the man matchup. But all you got to do is execute. A good throw, though. Long, you're never wrong.
Jared McLaughlin 2 for 2 for the season. Both of those in the opener against Arizona. This is a 49-yard try. Longest of this season, 31. We had a 48-yard attempt blocked last year by Boston College by Brian Toll. He hooked it wide left. Had the distance, but missed. On the outskirts of one of America's great cities, Boston, Massachusetts, in Chestnut Hill, the campus of Boston College. BC trying to go to 3-0 as it steps out of the Atlantic Coast Conference to entertain BYU. The Cougars lead 7-0. That's the second play from scrimmage for Boston College, a run by Andre Callender. He was tackled by Dustin Gabriel. Tremendous size advantage up front for Boston College, and they hope to lean on that great offensive line that's been a staple over the years here at BC. You
know, usually start to see the weight advantage of the talent take over later in the ball game, just wearing them down up front.
The average size of that BC line is 6'5", 306 pounds. Ryan's pass is batted down. Meanwhile, the average size of the BYU defensive line is 3 inches shorter per man and 35 pounds lighter. They average 6'2", 271, so they'll look for outstanding play from that linebacker group. That's the strength of the team as they've changed their alignment this year.
Well, they had to change it because they needed to get their most talented 11 on the field on the defensive side of the ball, and that included 4 linebackers as opposed to 3 linebackers.
Went from a 3-3-5 to a traditional 3-4. Ryan's pass is dropped. Brian Purvis was open near the first down yardage, but dropped it. Tom O'Brien told his team right after the game against Clemson last week, enjoy this tonight, fellas, but tomorrow we get back to work thinking about a very good BYU team that's going to come in here looking for revenge from last year. And right now this looks like a team that is not fully engaged.
No, they're not, and their enthusiasm is not there. And you're talking about simple plays and simple throws that under normal circumstances Ryan connects.
So Johnny Ayers, the junior, third year as the starting punter, gets a good one off. Nate Nickel collared at the 24-yard line by Robert Francois. 53-yard punt, a 12-yard return. Concern on the face of Tom O'Brien, understandably so. Curtis Brown on 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Danced his way out across the 25 to the 27, tackled there by Robert Francois, getting most of the playing time without Toll on the field.
Yeah, Robert Francois is filling in for Toll, like you said, Sean. Interesting thing, he's from Texas. Coach Baziana says, I can't call anybody a linebacker Francois, so his new name is Tex. So that was Tex on the tackle.
Last year in the entire game, BYU attempted only 16 rushes and rushed for a total of 8 yards. They're already up to 7 carries, 26 yards. Comfortably surpassed their yardage of a year ago. More onto that with the run by Brown. Matt Allen, a nice run after the catch. 16 yards and a first down out to the 48-yard line where Paul Anderson finally got him on the field turf.
Now what you're seeing here is a machine operating with a quarterback that's deadly accurate with his arms. Spaziani, the defensive coordinator, might have to alter his game plan. They can't match up with these guys man-to-man and blitz because they're protecting well, giving him too much time to find the open wide receiver. You might have to go to a little bit of a zone blitz.
Beck flushed from the pocket, and it looked like he was trying to tuck it, and it winds up as an incomplete pass. He didn't mean to throw it sideways, but the BC sideline saying he did throw it sideways, and there is no receiver over there, so they are going to throw a flag just now for intentional grounding. Nick Larkin was putting the heat on Beck.
The penalty is loss of down from the spot. Second down.
Of course, here in the New England area, they're very familiar with the tuck play. It looked like Beck was trying to tuck it, and it slipped out of his hand.
Right here, this is where he shows a little bit nervous because they're able to get pressure with a 4-man rush. And he did a good job of trying to act like he was tucking it, but I guarantee you a guy that's been around that long knows he's trying to just dump the ball and hope to get away with one, and he didn't.
Loss of down. Now Beck zips one to the far side of the field to the tight end, Harleen. Good response quickly by Nick Larkin. And that completion moves John Beck up on the all-time passing yardage list at BYU. Of course, they've had great quarterbacks throughout the last 3 decades, and he's moved by a pretty good player himself. Steve Young for 6th all-time now. He won't catch Ty Detmer, who's number 1 with more than 15,000 career yards. BC blitzes the safety Anderson. He doesn't get there. Beck with all day to throw. Then got tangled up, it appeared, with his own man, Manasseh Tonga. Austin Giles putting some pressure on. A loss of 5. And you get the feeling that BYU here in the first quarter, dominating play, Chris, might look back at this as some missed opportunities to get a much firmer grasp on this game than they are right now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why he was able to just stand in that pocket. One, they came with a zone pressure. BYU picked it up, but they had everybody covered downfield, especially at the first down marker sticks. And Beck, not showing the most nimble feet of all, gets tripped up by Tonga, his blocking back. But the good change of strategy by Coach Spaziani. They're going from a man pressure to zone pressure to protect the sticks in the deep pass.
Delay a game now against Brigham Young University.
Dead ball, delay of game, kicking team, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
That's where the players are captains of that team, of special teams. We'll get into that a little bit, but when you have players that are captains of the special teams as opposed to the special team coach, sometimes that gets a little hairy. I want you to notice something too, Sean. They got a very little guy right there as a long snapper. I'd blow him up, come after that punt.
Derek McLaughlin, transfer from the University of Washington, a booming punt. Fair catch made by DeJuan Tribble back at the 15-yard line. Well, you mentioned it. Bronco Mendenhall felt last year there wasn't enough focus on special teams play on the part of his players. He used the word ownership. He said he did a lot of reading in the off-season, books about corporate America, and a lot of the successful people in a lot of different walks of life talked about people respond better if they feel like they have ownership. So he decided this year with their kickoff and punt return and kickoff and punt coverage, he would pick one player to be the captain of each of those 4 units and let that player pick the other 10 players to play on that special team unit with him, and that captain would grade the unit every week and the individual players. He said it's made a big difference. Long bomb caught. Brandon Robinson finally taken down from behind by Justin Robinson at the 6-yard line. Well, Coach Mendenhall might want the defensive captain to pick a few different players to play on the defensive unit as they get burned for 79 yards.
Yeah, that's just straight speed. And right there, Brandon gave him a little stutter and go. And you see Robinson coming in. I'm telling you right now, if you're in the NFL, that's a 15-yard penalty because he horse collar talked him where his hand got in the jersey. Not in college football, thankfully, but what a great call. Well executed, great thrown ball. Brandon Robinson gave him that little stutter shake, and he was gone.
4th catch of the year for Brandon Robinson. 1st and goal, Boston College. From the 6-yard line, they've been dominated throughout this first quarter, but now a chance to get even. L.V. Whitworth, the lone back. 2 tight ends on the field.
Cameron Jensen came up and did a nice job of filling that hole, and the reason why he was filling the hole in a 3-4 linebacker, your nose guard and your 2 defensive ends, or 2 defensive tackles, whichever you prefer, did a good job of eating blockers, which allows the Mike linebacker to come in and nail the hit. Cameron Jensen's a great leader for Bronco Mendenhall's defense.
Whitworth remains the lone back. 3 wide receivers now. Ryan throws short. And it's Tony Gonzalez down to the 4. Ben Criddle, the former walk-on, made the tackle. He's now a starter. Criddle came out for the team prior to last season after the 2-a-days were already complete and they were ready to start the season. They had walk-on tryouts. He made it. He redshirted last year, and now he's a starter 1 year later.
He plays what they call the boundary corner, where Justin Robinson plays the field corner. Ben Criddle, a good solid tackler for a defensive back.
3rd and goal from the 3. Empty backfield. Ryan throws a slant intended for Taylor Saleh, and a flag down. Justin Robinson will be called for pass interference as he hit Saleh a bit early.
I got to see the replay because I thought it was a great play. Matt Ryan threw the ball behind the intended receiver. And since he threw the ball behind the intended receiver, looks like Robinson's in and gets a hand on the back. You know, that's a good defensive play. That's a fine defensive play. Now, if I can see the left arm, if the left arm doesn't call, take it back. Left arm was hooking. See, you see the left arm right there. If he gets the left arm not hooking, that's a great defensive play. But his instincts took over and says, I got to throw the hook, then to come over with the right arm. The ball was thrown behind now. That should have been a touchdown if the pass was on target.
Brian Toll, who's a short yardage specialist on offense, the starting linebacker, comes in short yardage situations in there on 1st and goal from the 2. Running left, touchdown Brian Toll.
And Ryan Poles. His right arm's dragging, Sean. He took a shot on the shoulder right there. He says, I'm going to test it out. You can see right now he's in pain.
I know he's their short yardage specialist, and he does a great job of picking up first downs and touchdowns in short yardage. But given that it's 1st and goal from the 2, you have 2 very talented tailbacks. Wouldn't you take a chance, at least on 1st or 2nd down, trying to get the ball in the end zone with somebody else before you subject Toll, playing with that bad shoulder, to that kind of a hit?
Well, I mean, you do subject him to that, but it's a big ball game, and he said he's okay. And when I've had that injury, it's an AC joint. It's painful, but it's doubtful that he can hurt it any more than it is. It's just a matter of sucking up. You can see right now he's running off and his arm is up. But I don't want this play to go by without recognizing Ryan Poles, who did a great job for his big rear end to get around that corner and open up the lane for Toll to hit the end zone.
Ryan Olliger to kick the extra point. Not as much pressure on this one, but he missed it. Last extra point he kicked 1 week ago won the game against Clemson. That was the final play. If he did then what he just did now, he'd be the biggest goat in Boston. He hooks it wide left, and BYU leads 7-6.
Aaron Wagner gets in and gets penetration and might get in a line of vision. Watch Ryan Poles right here, the big guy. Get around there, big fella. Just enough to knock him back and let Toll check that right shoulder, because that was contact right with the right shoulder. And you can see his hands a little bit. Watch him dip and load his shoulder like a good running back's supposed to. And that's a direct shot to the right shoulder. He's going to come back from it, though. Take a tough pill.
Yeah, you were coaching him up on how to deal with the pain yesterday. Little razzle-dazzle. There's the penalty flag down. It got handed off to Fui Vakapuna. They tried a similar play last week on a kickoff return. If it stands, it goes for 38 yards. Now, we mentioned the kickoff return unit, one of those that has its own team captain who picks the players, but the coaches do the coaching of the scheme, the strategy within the unit. The team captain of the individual unit just picks his mates.
I gotta see that on replay, because I'm putting that in tomorrow for the.
During the kickoff return, illegal forward handing, receiving team. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down, BYU.
Upper Arlington Youth Football League's going to see that return tomorrow. I'm putting that in. I don't think our officials will get it. You say illegal forward handling, that means right there's your hander. And that's a good job by the officials picking it up, that he was in front of the ball carrier and Fui took the ball in front. If Fui would have took the ball behind, then it's a good return. But that play's going in for my team tomorrow, Sean.
Just make sure they hand it behind.
Yes.
Mike Haig handed it off to Vakapuna. Brian Keel is the captain of the kickoff return unit. He picks the players. He might have to give them a bad grade for that performance.
Fui's got to get behind. Haig's got to turn his body. Your rear end's your friend. You got to turn your rear end to the other end zone and give it to Fui.
And missed extra point, the difference in the game right now. Cougars from their own 5. Beck got of the shotgun in his own end zone. Over the middle to Curtis Brown. Near a first down, and here's Linda Cohn. That's back when Spielman was on the field.
Yep, you were calling the game.
2nd and 1. Beck with a lot of time throws out here for Michael Reed. Tackled at the 25-yard line. Another first down. DeJuan Tribble made the tackle, the junior from Cincinnati. A lot of Cincinnati area players on this BC team. That's Tom O'Brien's hometown.
There's his own blitz, and the problem is you have young guys and they're running up each other's rear end. You can't do that. Each of you have a gap, but if you want to get pressure, you got to hit different gaps. You can't run into your guy. You got a whole lot of space to work with.
Brown's a senior from Palmdale, California, on his way to being BYU's all-time leading rusher. Good catch by Brown out of the backfield. He really is a dual threat. He has 17 more, 16 more to the 41, and a first down. Again, DeJuan Tribble had to make the tackle under a minute to go here in the first quarter, with BYU leading BC 7-6.
The philosophy of Robert Anai, the offensive coordinator from BYU, who came over from Texas Tech, is to spread the field. And when you spread the field and spread the ball, it puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the defense. And what they're doing, they're sneaking Brown out and getting him matched up with a linebacker. And right now, he's a little too quick for him.
It's unusual for Boston College. They're a ball control offense. They usually have the edge in time of possession. Fully Vakapuna driven back after a 1-yard gain. Mike McLaughlin, who's come in at middle linebacker to spell Jolan Dunbar, made the stop on what might well be the last play of the first quarter. These Cougar fans have made the longest trip that this football team has ever made within the continental United States. They've come nearly 2,100 miles to watch the Cougars battle the Boston College Eagles. An entertaining first quarter. The difference after one, a missed extra point. BYU 7, Boston College 6. Brian Toll on the field with the Boston College defense with that sore shoulder. Just took a bang as he scored the touchdown for Boston College that got them within a point. The extra point no good. So it's BYU by a point as we go to the second quarter here in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Fully Vakapuna knocked down by Marcellus Brown. A gain of 4. BYU came out in most impressive fashion, but right down the field after the opening kickoff. 66 yards and 11 plays. Most of BC's offense in this game on this 79-yard completion. Matt Ryan to Brandon Robinson. Justin Robinson prevented the touchdown, but Toll scored from 2 yards out moments later. The extra point missed. And now a big third down here for John Beck and the BYU offense. Third down and 5, just shy of midfield. Curtis Brown and Manasseh Tonga in the backfield. Beck incomplete, a little bit too far ahead of Brown. He was wide open. Kevin Akins nearest in coverage. That's a ball that should have been completed.
Yeah, it should have been completed. It was a poorly thrown football. BC tried to disguise man coverage. They dropped to a zone late. Perfect call for that. Good recognition, but it's no execution. And if I'm BC, if I'm their linebackers, I can't cover dirt. That type of situation, know where the sticks are, and jump on that back coming out and give them a shot and let them know you're there.
Derek McLaughlin will punt. He had one blocked last week against Tulsa. They came after him that time. He got it off. DeJuan Tribble has a little bit of running room. Made the first 2 miss, but could not get away from Matt Allen. 13:59 left till the half. Boston College trailing Brigham Young University 7-6. BC on offense from its own 19-yard line. Had the ball for only 3 minutes and 26 seconds in the game. They have 95 yards of offense, 79 on one play. Ryan in trouble and sacked. First sack of the ball game. It comes from Hala Paongo.
The proverbial coverage sack. You'll see right here, it's actually pretty well blocked. And Paongo keeps working and working and working, runs a little X stunt. Ryan's got to have the awareness. If it's nothing there, throw it away at the feet of somebody down the field. But don't hold the ball. That's poor decision making by Ryan. Pretty well executed blocking, but Paongo did that as effort sack. Effort.
Third sack to lead the team by Paongo, the former walk-on. Ryan zips one to Tony Gonzalez. They get most of the sack yardage back to the 17-yard line. Gonzalez, a 5th-year senior in graduate school, working toward a master's degree in sociology after an undergraduate degree. Already in his trophy case in communications. He was drafted by the Boston Red Sox, and he's a huge Red Sox fan, having grown up just down the road in Framingham, Massachusetts, but elected to come to Boston College to play football instead. Has not played baseball here at BC. Ryan airs it out deep, has a man. Rich Cannell couldn't get under it. He was behind Justin Robinson, who was burned on the big play by Brandon Robinson. But Ryan and Gunnell did not connect.
Good job by Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator, to move the pocket to the outside to get away from the pressure on the inside. And again, Sean, we're seeing it on BYU side. We're seeing it on BC side. the lack to take opportunities and connect on those opportunities because receivers are behind the defensive backs. They're just overthrown just a tad.
Man running onto the field late for Boston College is Taylor Saleh. Johnny Ayers punts. He's a baseball player at Boston College, a second baseman. There's a flag down as Nathan Mickle returns the punt across midfield and down to the 42-yard line of the Eagles. Ryan Purvis, the second team tight end, made the tackle. 49-yard punt by Ayers, 19-yard return by Mickle. The flag at the line. I would think the Cougars would turn this down. They have excellent field position. The ball spotted at the 43-yard line of Boston College.
Yeah, you have to turn it down. If you didn't get that field position, you make them re-kick. One reason is because Boston College has a lot of its starters on its defense on the punt team.
Illegal formation, punting team, only 6 players on the line of scrimmage. By rule, the penalty will be enforced from the end of the BYU return, first down.
Or you can do that.
Yeah, you can just take it because you get it. You wonder if that illegal formation was a byproduct of the man running on the field late. So the field position even better at the 38 when we come back. Spectacular day on this gorgeous campus at Boston College. The temperature in the mid-70s under sunny skies, but the Eagle fans a little glum. Sean McDonough with Chris Spielman and Rob Stone. BYU leads 7-6. They start this possession at the Boston College 38. Curtis Brown weaving and breaking tackles and picking up a first down to the 29. BYU with the statistical edge. They dominated the first quarter. They have to feel like they should be perhaps even ahead by a greater margin. Mike Haig, the freshman, took the handoff on the end around, and Jamie Silva knocked him out of bounds.
Jamie Silva, Coach Spaziano's eyes light up when he talks about Jamie Silva, and he said, Chris, to be quite honest with you, I worry about the kid because he hit so hard. I think he's going to hurt himself. And right there, he gave Mike Haig a nice shot. Haig went off shaking his head a little bit.
Frank Spaziani said Jamie Silva is an assassin. Off the field.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. Very likable young man on the field. Not all that likable. You're wearing the white shirts. Second down and 11. Beck again with plenty of time, and the pass intended for Matt Allen well off the mark. He was well covered by Dewan Tribble. Bronco Mendenhall and his Cougars came out flying. They've been a bit more stagnant of late on offense. Can they convert on third down and 11 from the BC 27? Boston College with a blitz. Beck throwing to the end zone, and it is broken up by Dewan Tribble. Intended for the freshman McKay Jacobson. And a fine play by the veteran cornerback Tribble.
Yeah, the reason why that works is because of the pass rush. You're blitzing and playing man. BYU does not protect Beck like they would like, and the ball's thrown just a little bit in a hurry. And what's right? Great job of excellent body control by Tribble and not coming and getting contact before the ball arrived at the wide receiver. Good body control to get that ball out of there.
It's now Jared McLaughlin, who missed a 49-yarder in the first quarter, trying from 45 here out of the hole to the backup quarterback Jason Beck. Beck, momentary problem with the snap, but he got it down, and the kick is good by the senior from Wetumpka, Alabama, Jared McLaughlin. College football coverage on ESPN2 presented by Pennzoil. Once again, the true freshman Jeff Smith trying to hide behind Dewan Tribble. I don't want Jared McLaughlin to know where Smith is going. 1 yard shy last week of setting the single game BC record for kickoff return yardage. Dave Bennett back in 1968, 214 yards against Army, but he did that in 8 returns. Smith did his in 5, and he muffed the first one. He fumbles this one, and the Eagles say they have it. It looked like Dewan Tribble was in the bottom of the pile, and a 15-yard return, and the Eagles did get it back. And it was Mark Malio or Survival Ross. They have two number 38, so I'll have to read the name. It was Ross. And he's appropriately named. It's Survival for Boston College.
Again, you're defensive back. You're not used to carrying the ball, and you're seeing air between the elbow and body, which exposes the football, and just a little touch of the ball knocked it out. Seen that a lot so far this year in the young season.
BC football in the recent years under Tom O'Brien has been mistake-free football. It has not been the case today. L.V. Whitworth, the ball carrier. L.V. Whitworth looking for somewhere to run, could not. Down at the 19-yard line in the arms of David Nixon, the third cousin of former President Richard Nixon, and Cameron Jensen, whom Coach Mendenhall calls the greatest leader he's ever been around, Cameron Jensen.
It's nice to have that at your linebacker position, the guy that controls the flow, makes the calls, makes the adjustments. You're hoping he's a good leader, and he has been.
His mom was a Cougarette, but his dad played sports at University of Utah. It's like the Hatfields meeting up with the McCoys. All day to throw for Ryan. Has nowhere to throw it. Now dumps it off short and well short of the first down to the 21-yard line to the backup tight end Ryan Purvis. Tackled by Aaron Wagner. A transfer from Washington State, who was drafted by Toronto in the CFL earlier this year, but elected to stay in school. He's from Lethbridge, Alberta.
One of the problems that BC's having on the offensive side of the ball is their receivers are not able to create any separation with the Cougar defensive backs, forcing Ryan to hold the ball or dump it off early.
Relatively inexperienced BC receiving corps. They lost their best receiver a year ago, Will Blackman, to the NFL draft. Ayers punt, handled by Mickle. He's smothered immediately at the 36-yard line by Larry Anam. 42-yard punt, 2-yard return. Beautiful day in Chestnut Hill. Back on the campus of Boston College at Alumni Stadium. 1st and 10 for BYU. The Cougars at their own 38-yard line, leading 10-6. John Beck, the senior from Mesa, Arizona. His dad was a track athlete at BYU. He grew up in Mesa, a big BYU sports fan. He throws it out to the near side to Matt Allen, whose ankle tackled by Tajee Morris. Matter of fact, John Beck said when he was a kid, around 8 years old, they bought a special antenna to put on their TV to try to get the broadcasts of the BYU football games. And sometimes he'd have to be outside the house fiddling with this antenna and hoping the rest of the family could see the game.
That's all right. That sounds like normal family fan behavior to me. If you love football, that's a good idea. If you're the kid, you got to go out and hold the antenna. Good idea.
Inside handoff. Brown breaks tackles. Looking for blocks from the wide receivers, and maybe too much of a block. There's a flag down. Larry Anam made the tackle. Might have been Michael Reed who was guilty of an illegal block on the far sideline. It's a 15-yard gain if it counts.
Looked like Brian Tolshawn had a chance to make the play right there, but he was coming with his right arm, and when he extends his right arm.
Number 3 of the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, 2nd down.
That's where the problem comes. You see Brian Toll right here. Now watch. Let's see if he can come. He might have an opportunity to see. He's running. He's running. He sneaks in there. It looks to me right there, he's hesitant a little bit, and he didn't lay out with that arm. He's got to be able to let it loose, and I think he's still thinking about his shoulder a little bit because he's not quite laying out and seeing the Brian Toll. And it's understandable because it's a lot of pain. But as he plays, it should get better.
Ball back to the 45-yard line of BYU. 2nd down and 3. A blitz. Beck throws a duck, but it's caught by Dan Coates to the 39-yard line of Boston College. 16-yard gain on the last play here, the completion to Coates. They have an excellent tandem of tight ends to the Cougars with Harleen and Coates. Out of the shotgun, John Beck dumps it short, and it's dropped by Vakapuna. Here's Rob Stone.
Sean Beck's first 3 collegiate snaps went like this: sack, fumble, interception. Not a good wake-up call for the freshman. Things have certainly changed since then. According to ESPN NFL draft expert Mel Kiper, Beck is a top 10 senior quarterback. Kiper told me this week that he likes his arm strength, his quick release, and his heady decision-making. Right now, he is a second-day draft pick, but one that can certainly make some moves up that quarterback draft depth chart.
One of the things that I love about him, Sean, is he has great vision and sees the field, recognizes coverage and the weakness of the coverage, and delivers the ball to the area.
Inside handoff to Manasseh Tonga. He got chopped down at the 33-yard line by Taji Morris. John Beck is one of 28 players on this BYU team who are married. Of course, Brigham Young University, affiliated with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church. And John Beck did, like many of these players, serve a 2-year church mission. He went to Portugal back in 2000, 2001, and into 2002. They have 61 players on this team who are returned missionaries, about 59% of their roster. So year to year, they are historically older than many teams in the country. There are 7 players who will be 27 or older during this football season. Beck threw wide of Matt Allen. It'll be 4th down, and this is iffy field goal range here. They tried a 49-yarder, and he had the leg to do it. This will be about a 50-yarder. And they're going to take a shot at it with Jared McLaughlin.
And he does have a little bit of wind at his back. Now, if I'm BC, remember, on a long field goal try, Sean, the ball has to be driven a little bit, so you really want to get your hands up and get that penetration because the ball's going to come out lower.
This would be a career long if he makes it. 50-yarder. He is hitting from about 56 in this direction in warm-ups, and it is good. Very little breeze in the stadium, not an issue for the kickers. And BYU takes a 7-point lead. 6.5 to go till halftime. We'll take a brief 1-minute break and come back to Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Two field goals for Jared McLaughlin, a 1-yard touchdown run by John Beck. And BYU leads 13-6. Large contingent of BYU fans here. Some of them made the lengthy trip, but there's also a large Mormon population in the Boston area. As a matter of fact, the governor of Massachusetts, who's here today, Mitt Romney, is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Much of that end zone you see to our right occupied by the blue-clad BYU fans. Smith again hiding behind Tribble as Jared McLaughlin kicks off. It's Tribble to the 17-yard line. Sean McDonough with Chris Spielman talked about how BC came out flat, and certainly BYU has had the edge in play. They've outgained Boston College 192-97. It's going well for BYU, but my thing, if I were a BYU fan, Chris, would be, shouldn't they be a little bit more ahead the way they've controlled the game?
Well, I think so. They haven't been able to take advantage of the turnover that they got early. Another thing is Boston College has nothing going for it offensively. They can't run it and they can't throw it, which causes all kind of problems. And the defense, after getting pounded in the face on the first drive, has responded and basically kept BC in this ball game so far.
Matt Ryan to Kevin Challenger. He appears to have a first down. Here Boston College trying to go to 3-0. -6 yards rushing. That's been a problem in the first 2 games as well. Gonzalez, a good open field tackle by Kelly Popinga. BC came into this game averaging just 97 yards per game on the ground and only 2.8 yards per rush.
Right there, you have a matchup with Gonzalez, a wide receiver, versus linebacker Popinga, Gonzalez has to be able to make Poppinga miss in the open field. Even if you get yourself 3 more yards, you set yourself up for a better situation if a third down does come into play.
Andre Callender, the lone back. Pass to Challenger. He's hit immediately by Ben Criddle, a little bit short of the first down. Those BC backs are interchangeable. As a matter of fact, Dana Bible says a lot of times I don't even know whether it's Whitworth or Callender in the game. They have a similar skill set. It does not affect Dana Bible's play calling.
You think that's becoming trendy, and it should be around the NFL and in college football, where you have 2 backs that keep them fresh and keep them running hard right at you. If a guy gets hot, then you ride the hot horse, but if he's not, keep your system.
Big play call here for Coach Bible. Ryan off his back foot throws, and it is caught for a first down. Rich Gunnell, who's about the 5th or 6th wide receiver on the depth chart, with a nice catch out in space for a 6-yard pickup, tackled by Dustin Gabriel.
You have to be able to throw off your back foot in any league to get away from the rush, and that's a good recognition by Ryan of putting the ball to a spot where his receiver could make the play. Gunnell did a good job of focusing and keeping his eyes on that ball. He's kind of running a little awkward there. Looked like he was getting off balance, but he was able to finish.
Ryan accurate as usual. He's a junior from the Philadelphia area, Exton, Pennsylvania. Callender wide open over the middle, breaks a tackle and gets 5 more to the Brigham Young 43-yard line. Quinn Gooch made the stop. They're working the short passing routes here. This one to Brandon Robinson, the redshirt freshman. Ben Criddle the stop, but another quality gain to the 35, about 1.5 yards short of the first down.
Yeah, check it out here. Now we're starting to kind of see mirror images of offense right here, where BYU dumped the ball back to the back. Brown earlier, well, that's what Boston College did. They jumped the ball to the back to Callender, and he took off and run. Now they're hitting him with a quick out game to slow down the pass rush of Brigham Young.
And the 3-4 defense, very impressive for BYU. Ryan the pump fake and the long throw intended for Challenger. And he had Justin Robinson right on his hip. It had to be painful for Bronco Mendenhall, who doubles as defensive coordinator, to make the change. I mean, he was one of the coaches who really helped invent the 3-3-5 when he was at Oregon State with Rocky Long, now the head coach at New Mexico. But he said at BYU, historically, we recruit good linebackers, not as many good defensive backs. It just made sense to change.
That's the ego, not getting involved, saying, where's my good players? They're a linebacker. They're not all of them aren't a DB, so you go to your strength.
3rd down and 1. LB Whitworth. Oh, they had him stuffed. Now he has 1 man to beat for a touchdown, and they get him down at the 18-yard line. Looked like they'd stop him short of the first down. Instead, it's a 17-yard gain. Finally, Nixon's the one who made the tackle.
Now take a look here. Now, this is a good job by LV, wanting the first down. Right there, you got Wagner and all, missed tackle, arm tackles, guys going to their knees, ducking their heads. Poor execution, not closing the gate in front of the ball. And Nixon did a good job of hustling, but he made about, I don't know, 7 guys miss because their heads were dropped. They dropped to their knees, and they didn't run through the tackler or the ball carrier and make contact. They reached for him.
3 of their 5 first downs on this drive. Ryan wanted to throw another shorty, and now lofts it up. Terrible mistake, and the ball dropped. Well, the officials are conferring. I think one was going to say an interception, the other one saying incomplete. Ben Criddle had it and then lost it, and they're finally going to rule it an incomplete pass.
Yeah, good job by the officials right there, getting in.
It's an incomplete pass.
Conferring. This was a pump and go, and BYU's been a good job of executing and staying disciplined. Now, you can't tell from that angle. Let's see. There's the catch. He goes to the highest point, looking for his feet. 1. Oh, good job, Challenger. Way to turn into a DB, baby. Excellent job of Challenger. A veteran play, seeing the catch being made. 1, 2, and coming with the strip. What a great play. Headsy play. Man, I love to see that. Smart.
Criddle just couldn't hang on. That's a huge play. So now 2nd and 10 instead of a turnover. Ryan throwing to the corner for Gonzalez. Flag down. He made the catch anyway. Touchdown, Boston College. What a catch by Tony Gonzalez, with the receiver draped all over him, rather the defender Nixon draped all over him. So much so that he got a flag thrown for pass interference.
Pass interference, number 43 of the defense. The penalty is declined. Touchdown, BC.
Not only that, that's recognition and game planning by Dana Bible of getting Gonzalez matched up with Nixon, the linebacker. Although it was decent coverage, it was a great throw, and it's tough for a linebacker to run with a wide receiver that far and that long. He didn't turn and look for the ball. He didn't look and lean. He's got to turn back, or definitely going to be an interference. But a great throw and good concentration by big play Tony Gonzalez.
He has the knack for coming up with big plays when they need them most. Oliger already missed his first extra point. Tried, he missed it again. Looked like it was about to be blocked. You wonder if that player, Justin Robinson, coming in from his right, helped exaggerate the hook. But he's hit the exact same ball twice, wide left. And last week's overtime hero has a huge set of goat horns on right now.
Yeah, you see it that he looks like he's not getting his vision, but almost to me, he's almost trying to hit it too hard. And when a kicker tries to hit it too hard, oftentimes you are going to pull the football. And BYU's not quitting on it. And you know, that will drive that man, Coach O'Brien, right there, crazy.
Ryan Oliger has had an up and down career. He's a junior. He's made some big kicks, but he's also had some notable problems, so much so that not long ago he started working with a sports psychologist, Dr. Harvey Dahlberg. Oliger admits that sometimes he has trouble blocking out the crowd, and he tries to focus on the positive. He's taped his 20 best kicks, and he watches them over and over again for positive reinforcement to savor the success. These two will not be on the tape.
I got some free advice from him. We don't have to go to the doctor. Just kick the ball. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Trust your training. There's your medical report. Trust your training.
Twice Boston College is poised to get even, and they still have not been able to do so because of the missed extra points. McKay Jacobson, a 27-yard return. So under 3 minutes to go for John Beck, veteran quarterback. And he hands it off to Curtis Brown. It gets blown up at the line of scrimmage by Robert Francois.
Yeah, Robert Francois. This is what I love. You don't give up 1-for-1. In other words, don't take on a blocker just to force the guy. Robert Francois came up and in his first start, delivers a blow, knocks the lineman down, the pulling lineman down, is able to make the tackle. That's being a football player and being a true linebacker by completing the play and not giving 1-for-1 up on the blocker and then making the tackle, taking the blocker out and getting the tackle. Beautiful.
Francois, one of those players the coaches talked about, needed to help out with the injury to Toll. He's had a nice game. From Texas, but went to prep school at Governor Dummer Academy here in Massachusetts. Quick catch made by Zach Colley and a first down. 1st and 10. BYU under 2 minutes to go, first half. Beck dumps it off for Manasseh Tonga. It took 3 Eagles to get him down at the 47-yard line. Francois in there again. All 3 timeouts left for BYU. They might want to move a bit more briskly here at the line of scrimmage. Coach Mendenhall checking out the clock. In his second year as head coach. Last year, his first season, they went 6-5 in the regular season, made it to a bowl game for the first time since 2001. Lost in Las Vegas to Cal. Curtis Brown wrapped up again by Francois, but looked like Curtis got the first down to the Boston College 48-yard line. It is a first down.
Again, the pressure that BYU's offense puts on you, and especially in the 2-minute drill where they have 3 and 4 wide receivers. They use Harleen as a wide receiver, tight end, and they split him out. And they use all the field, so you have to defend all the field. Then they'll sneak Brown out there, and he puts you one-on-one in linebacker in open field, and Brown's good enough to make a miss.
So Robert Anai, the former offensive lineman of BYU, now the offensive coordinator. The pass off the hands of Brown and incomplete with Tyrone Pruitt closing in, waiting to lower the boom.
Curtis Brown got a little bit of alligator arms right there. He saw Pruitt waiting to deliver the knockout shot and didn't stop to catch the ball. His arms didn't go extend because Pruitt was coming. That's a bad read by Beck. Zone coverage. Brown has to sit down and throw it to him, and Beck has to throw it behind him. He can't run him into the coverage. Get him killed.
1:02 to go in the half. Beck throws one deep down the sideline, and it is intercepted. picked off by Dewan Tribble at the 16-yard line.
That's an outstanding job of Tribble of recognizing and trusting his speed and athletic ability to make the play. Beck tries to zip one in there where he needs to throw a little bit more air under it. This is a cover 2. Tribble comes from his corner position. He's supposed to be underneath the receiver and comes up and doesn't lose focus on the football. Watch him go up and go get you some. One-hander. That's nice. And safety Peterson coming over the top. That's where Tribble has to throw long, because Sean, if you're long, you're never wrong. And he's short, and so it's a turnover.
First interception of the year thrown by Beck, just the second for the BC defense this season. The first by Tribble, the junior from Cincinnati, Ohio. See how Boston College plays it. They do have Ryan throwing. Now running. He was close to the line. As he throws, he has a man open. It's Brandon Robinson out to the 45. And they'll try to hurry. Brian Keel made the tackle, 30-yard gain. Clock stops to move the chains. 2 timeouts for Boston College. They don't want to burn one here. Brian, a veteran quarterback, moved in as a starter last year. Took the job over from Quentin Porter. Led them to a 9-3 season and a bowl win. Throws it up for grabs, and it's intercepted by Quinn Gooch. Gooch has it back. Number 25 has it at the 25-yard line. His first interception of the season.
And sometimes you got to throw it away. Right there, he doesn't see Gooch in his free safety position coming over. And again, he's short with the football. You see Challenger going deep. Either he gets it or no one gets it. And Gooch is in good position. And what I loved about that, went up at the highest point and made the catch.
He's from a BYU family. His brother David played at BYU. Their dad played basketball at BYU. Quinn Gooch, the youngest of 8 children. Not content to take a knee, the Cougars. And a completion to Brown for a first down out to the 37. And Bronco Mendenhall will use the timeout with 14 seconds left in the half. Jolon Dunbar the stop.
See, I love this. They're aggressive. Why can they afford to be aggressive? Because they believe in their offense and they believe in their system. Usually when you're on the road, you got the lead at half, you're backed up around the 20-yard line, you see guys take a knee. Not Bronco Mendenhall. Let's go get one. Plus he has the wind at his back, and his field goal kicker already knocked one in from 50.
Well, we've already seen McLaughlin has a good leg, but they need a lot of work to do to get him into field goal range.
About 22 yards away. And with this offense and the way they're able to spread you around the field, they have 2 timeouts left. They have a lot of time to maybe get 2 plays off.
But we thought, given the philosophical change in the BYU offense this year, trying to be more balanced and almost even coming in this year, run and pass, we wouldn't see Beck throw 60 times today like he did last year against Boston College, but he's thrown 27. They were not yet at the half, likely to throw again. In their own 37, the Cougars. It's Johnny Harleen, not yet across midfield. Larry Anam the stop. And another timeout called by BYU, a 12-yard gain on the completion to Harleen.
Let's talk about clock management right here. You have 6 seconds, so you figure, okay, we're going to go to shotgun. We got to get a three-step pass off, get the ball out of bounds. Now you can still use the middle of the field because you do have a timeout left. And so either a coach or a player on the field has to know where the official is, and he's going to be the designated guy to find that official to hit him timeout so they don't lose any seconds. But the whole field's available because of the timeout that's left.
Bronco Mendenhall, just 40 years old. He wasn't the first choice to be the head coach. He had served 2 years as defensive coordinator Gary Croton when Croton was fired. A lot of the BYU players wanted Mendenhall, but BYU offered the job to Kyle Whittingham, who at the time was the defensive coordinator at Utah. And BYU was his alma mater, but he elected to stay at Utah when Urban Meyer left to become the head coach there. Bronco Mendenhall had already told his wife and kids, get ready to move. I'm not going to get the head coaching job. Once Whittingham turned it down, the players went to the administration at BYU and said, we really do want you to hire Coach Mendenhall, and they did. He's done a very nice job trying to get this program back to where their fans think it should be. where it was for so long. Beck throws. He better get in the end zone. Talking about McKay Jacobson because they're out of time. Looks good on the stat sheet, 26 yards, but it just ends the half. The difference in the game, the kickers. McLaughlin kicked 2 field goals and an extra point, while Ryan Oliger of Boston College has missed 2 extra points. As a result, BYU leads by 1. Here's Rob.
Well, Coach, a great opening drive by BYU. What defensive adjustments did you make after that?
Well, we have to tackle better, and we just have to get used to the speed of their offense. And that's, I think we've caught up to it a little bit, but we have to tackle better on defense.
What do you tell your place kicker, Ryan Oliger?
Well, I haven't talked to him yet. I mean, that's Jerry Peter Cussey's job. We'll talk to him here at halftime, and he's got to kick it and make it.
Obvious, right?
Easy.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, pretty simple. That's why he is the winningest coach at Boston College. BYU leads by 1. Once again, they have Jeff Smith hiding behind Dewan Tribble as Jared McLaughlin kicks off. It'll be Tribble again. Trying to go all the way across the field. Got as a block. Dewan Tribble. Well, they were doing the stat to try to get Smith the ball, but it worked out pretty well with Tribble. The kicker, Jared McLaughlin, made the tackle at the 43-yard line of BYU, a 50-yard return. Of course, last week against Clemson, Smith returned the second half kickoff, 96 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, BYU got all bunched up there. One hand grenade would have got them all. They got to keep the field spread and stay in your lanes. They all fell for the bait. And Tribble, with great speed, saw the open space and hit it.
He has not led in the game. Twice when they had the chance to tie, the extra point was missed. Jeff Smith stays in the game and gets a 1-yard gain. BYU very impressive opening kickoff. They marched 66 yards in 11 plays. John Beck, the 1-yard plunge. Boston College got on the board. Brian Toll with a very sore right shoulder took it in from 2 yards out. But Boston College has missed both extra points. And that's the difference in the game. 2 field goals for BYU. Tony Gonzalez, a touchdown reception. The try no good. That's where we stand. Ryan down the seam, well behind Brandon Robinson, with Dustin Gabriel in coverage. And really not many signs, Chris, that the injured ankle, the sprained left ankle of Matt Ryan, causing him any problems today.
Oh, a little bit, and not a lot, but he's not going to hurt you running the football. But what it does do is, to me, he's still having trouble stepping and planting and throwing. I know it doesn't look like it, but he's a little bit flat-footed as opposed to being on his toes when he gets in his drop back in his set.
3rd down and 9. He rolls out and airs it out deep toward the end zone, looking for Gunnell, and he dropped the ball. Justin Robinson had coverage. He fell down, and the ball hit Gunnell, the freshman, right off the number 18.
Well, again, this is the problem that we've seen not only in college football but pro football, where Gunnell has an opportunity to catch the ball, and he lets the ball get into his chest instead of snagging it away from his body. I mean, that's a tough catch to make, but one that if you're going to be a major contributor in the ACC and be a big-time wide receiver, and you have an opportunity, step up and shine, young man. Get on the highlight show with Reese.
Thank goodness for college football history, that was Gerard Phelan who caught the flutie pass and not Gunnell. A lot of lives would be different. The punt down by Challenger. Well done by Johnny Ayers. 41 yards, but there is a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
You mentioned lives would have been different. Keith Byers probably would have been the Heisman Trophy winner that year. Special teams errors. They have a great job of hanging that football up. BYU didn't execute and catch the ball inside the 5-yard line.
Illegal formation, punting team. The ball will be re-kicked after a 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
The ball back to the 47-yard line. Nickelback at the 10-yard line, waiting for the punt from Ayers. one is straight up in the air. And it takes a BYU bounce. That penalty cost them about 23 yards of field position. They're saying, gee, I did it so well the first time. This one went just 22. First possession of the second half for BYU, leading 13-12. John Beck out of the shotgun, 19 out of 29 in the first half for 203. He adds to that total with a strike to Johnny Harleen out to the 48-yard line. Here's Rob Stone.
You guys are going to love this one. I just talked with BC field goal kicker Ryan Oliger, and I said, any problems? He's like, no, I came out earlier than normal to practice. Everything seemed good, but could this be the problem? Yes, this is a gum wrapper. Okay, Oliger has this tendency to put in a new piece of gum every time he comes out for a kick. Usually it's Winter Fresh. No Winter Fresh today, only Big Red. Could it be the Big Red problem?
I think it could be some tough love. Either make the next one or you're out. That would fix the problem. We'll find another guy. And that, you want to see kids succeed, Sean. You don't want to wish anybody that they don't have success, but just quit thinking, man. Just go play. It's a game. Have fun with it. Kick the ball.
Curtis Brown, the last carry. Tom O'Brien did yank Oliger from the starting kicking position for a while last year after he missed 3 field goals in a game against Virginia.
The way this game's going, he might have an opportunity to save the day. Redemption, my good man.
Low snap, and Beck has trouble getting back on it. Still squirting around at the 41-yard line, and the Eagles have it. Austin Giles, the freshman, recovered the fumble. And a number of low snaps today from center from Sete Alai.
Well, it's good penetration, too, because Beck went in there to dive on the football. He didn't have anywhere to dive because Alate is getting pushed back a little bit into the quarterback. And great job of getting in there and rooting it out like a groundhog. B.J. Raji did a good job of pushing Sete back into the quarterback.
2 turnovers apiece, uncharacteristic of these two schools. Here's Andre Callender. Nice run, had to bounce it outside, then back inside. He got 8. He's from New Jersey, the all-time leading rusher at Seton Hall Prep. He's from Roselle, New Jersey.
Something that BC must get going in the second half to open up the passing game a little bit is run the football. You can't be one-dimensional and expect to win games consistently.
BC rushed for 11 yards in the first half on 7 carries. Leaving it on the ground, back to the line of scrimmage for Callender, and that's all. Cameron Jensen made the tackle, preseason all Mountain West Conference linebacker. The Cougars in the preseason media poll picked to finish 2nd in their league behind TCU.
Cameron Jensen, as you pointed out in the first half, Sean, is a leader. Thing is, with the whole BYU team, you look down the media guide, it says Eagle Scout, Eagle Scout. So literally, this is a team of Boy Scouts. Not cliche, literally. It's a good thing.
A blitz. It's picked up well. Ryan lofts it down the seam, incomplete, and then Challenger got destroyed by Quinn Gooch.
Gooch came in and delivered some paint. Challenger does a good job of focusing. Gooch comes in with that shoulder. That's a good clean shot to me. Now, I'm kind of old-fashioned and out of style. The helmet went down. The only thing I would tell Gooch is keep his head up so he doesn't get hurt, but he comes in with the shoulder and delivers a shot like a safety is supposed to deliver the shot to put fear in that receiver's heart. Good angle, good punishment.
Well, it'll be a 52-yard field goal, and Oliger's had his problems with the extra point, so they're going for it on 4th down and 2. Ryan dumps it off for the first down to Brandon Robinson. David Nixon, the tackle. Good call by Dana Bible, well executed. Looked like Ryan had a chance to run for it as well.
Well, Robinson, again, if you're BYU and you're Bronco Mendenhall, you got a matchup problem because you're having Nixon try to match up with a receiver out there, and frankly, it's a mismatch. And Ryan recognized that and delivered the ball on time to Brandon.
Now the I formation, and the Callender. 11 more. First down to the 20-yard line. Quinn Gooch again on the stop.
Yeah, Callender's told his boy, Challenger, I got your back, baby, because Gooch came up to hit him, and this time Callender delivered the blow to Gooch. Justice has been served. But Gooch popped right back up, which is good.
Oliger getting ready. Just in case he's pressed back into action. Plenty of room, running to the right. Flag down, Callender down. Inside the 5 by Quinn Gooch. Again, 14-yard gain. But it was thrown at the feet of a BC receiver trying to block on the perimeter.
Holding, number 18 of the offense, 10-yard penalty. First down will be repeated.
Well, this third quarter is only 4.5 minutes old, but it's already been a nightmare for Rich Gunnell. Guilty of the drop pass in the end zone, and now this takedown of Justin Robinson.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. To come in and lean on a guy's legs and then grab him.
Yeah, that's just...
And that's youth right there. And he's trying to do his job, but do your job how your coach do your job. You come in, you stick your shoulder through the guy's shins to take his legs out. You don't come in and grab ankles and try to tie his shoes down there. No sense. Come on. You can get it, young fellow. You'll do it.
Big penalty, the walk-off back to the 18. This will be first and about 8. And this is a high-level academic institution. Year in and year out, they approach 100% graduation rate of their football players. They're smarter than that. Ryan looking all over, looking for a receiver in the flat. It was Robinson, and it's incomplete. Ala Paongo put a lot of pressure on Ryan. The line gave him plenty of time. He looked all over the field and couldn't find a man open.
Yeah, he's not a threat to run. You'll see right here, he's kind of got a little giddy up in a little limp going, but awareness of where his receiver was to throw it where either his guy could get it or no one could get it. Better than holding the ball like he did in the first half.
Dana Bible says in this offense he's the dealer of the ball. There's no one feature player. Just find the man who's most open and get it to him. He found Robinson, but it's short of the first down. So Tom O'Brien has another decision to make. It'll be 4th down and 2. A field goal would give them the lead. Excuse me, it's 3rd down. As a result of the penalty. Doesn't have to make that decision just yet. And I would imagine that young man's heart is beating a bit more quickly than usual.
Get him some winter fresh. He'll be all right.
Send the manager to the store. Get him the gum he wants if that's what it takes.
Try some Beemans. Nobody uses that anymore.
3rd down and 2. Some confusion along the line of scrimmage, but they have time. Still 5 on the play clock. Ryan, a naked bootleg and a dump off to the tight end. Purvis has the first down inside the 2. Aaron Wagner prevented the touchdown. Again, a nice play call by Dana Bible, and you have to think a big part of the success of this program under Tom O'Brien has been the continuity on the staff. Dana Bible in his 8th year. Every coach on this staff has been here with Tom O'Brien for at least 4 years.
Watch right here. You're going to see Ryan hold the ball out there long, a la Peyton Manning. Kind of a lost art amongst quarterbacks is showing the ball fake, then coming back and hitting the bootleg.
Brian Toll is in at tailback in this goal line situation. They give it to him. He lunges. I think they were going to say he was down before the ball went across the plane. He broke the plane, but after he was down in the arms of Aaron Wagner.
Sean, you made a good point in the first half, and Brian, I don't know if Brian, if he's thinking about his injury a little bit, he kind of ran on eggshells, just a tad in there. Brian Toll can be an effective short yardage back because of his size. He's hitting it up in there all right. Stretch that ball out, but protect the ball.
Second and goal. Ryan keeps, and he appears to be in. No signal from the officials. BC players saying, come on, he's in the end zone.
Yeah, I think he got in. Yeah, I think he got in, and now everybody's going to get a little antsy down there, but to me, he was in.
Touchdown.
Yeah, there you go. It's a good job of the officials making sure they get the right call.
And Tom O'Brien's going to go for 2 here. Probably a relief to Oliger, but he's trying to get at least one of those missed extra points back.
Right there's a helmet. The ball's not far behind. Right here's your line. The ball's right there. Touchdown, Eagles.
So 2 would give them a 7-point lead. Of course, this is their 3rd extra point attempt. So even if they're successful on the 2, they've still left 1 on the table. Do you like this with so much time left?
Yeah, I'm the opposite guy. If you got your little card that says you're down 5, go for 2 to make it 7-point game. Absolutely, I like it.
Ryan to the back of the end zone. There is a flag down. Challenger the catch for the 2 if it stands. Of course, that decision to go for 2 a lot easier when your kicker is 0 for 2 with a couple of snap hooks.
Holding, number 28 of the defense. The penalty is declined. Conversion is good.
So the 2-point play good, and Boston College leads for the first time today. One of the great Boston landmarks, legal seafood. A lot of the visiting teams that come into Boston to play Boston College take their team on Friday night to legal seafood.
I ate there last night.
It's great, isn't it?
It's awesome. They need to up the portions a little bit, but it's awesome.
Well, that's you talking. Could have had the 10-pound lobster and it wouldn't have been enough. The kickoff down to Mike Haig. Ooh. He managed to bounce off a pretty good lick by Jamie Silva, the assassin. 16-yard return. Movement along the line of scrimmage.
Dead ball. False starts. Number 13 to the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Johnny Harleen will be 1st and 15. We mentioned legal seafood's a great landmark. Well, BYU spent yesterday sightseeing. Bronco Mendenhall took the Cougars to the USS Constitution, known as Old Ironside, in service in the Navy since 1797, the oldest commissioned ship in the world, still active. They take it out occasionally, turn it around so it weathers evenly on each side, the old wooden vessel in Boston Harbor. Team had a great day yesterday. Curtis Brown the catch. Bronco Mendenhall said we're coming all the way from a 2 hours difference in time zone, so this is a 10 a.m. game for us. I want to come out on Thursday, so the team is all day Friday to get acclimated, and also a lot of his players are from the western part of the United States, have never been out here out east to this city with so much history. Give Coach Mendenhall credit. You know, they are young men, they're college men, and they had a learning experience yesterday while preparing for the football game. BC with great penetration into the backfield. Nick Larkin drops Curtis Brown for a loss. Back to the 28. B.J. Raji also in on the play.
Yeah, B.J. Raji at 340 pounds has a little bit of burst. When you got a rear end like that and burst that goes with it, you're trouble. Watch B.J. get in there and get penetration. On the snap of the ball, he has great get off there, tried to trap block him, but he's too quick for the guard to come and trap him. He's in the backfield and almost takes the handoff. When you have that weight and speed behind you, danger, Will Robertson. Danger, Will Robertson.
Raji's 340. They're playing without the other tackle, Ron Brace, who's also 340. There's a sack by Kevin Akins. Frank Spaziani, when we visited with him yesterday, said, I guarantee, I just have a feeling Akins is going to get a sack tomorrow. He's got great speed. He can run around the line of scrimmage, and the coach knows his squad. Eddie Keel, the left tackle, is injured for BYU.
Well, you got 6'6", 315 against the smaller, quicker linebacker who does beat the offensive lineman with speed, Dallas Reynolds. Speed kills. It really does. And when you go for pass rushers, if you had speed, it puts pressure on a big offensive lineman. It's Eddie Keel. Hate to see anybody get injured.
Robert Anai, the offensive coordinator, talking with John Beck. Keel's a very good offensive lineman. Eddie Keel helped off the field and clearly in a lot of pain on the BYU sideline. We mentioned so many of these players have relatives who played sports at BYU. His wife Jenny is on the basketball team. His brother Ryan, former lineman for the football Cougars. There are 22 players on this BYU football team who have relatives who have played sports at BYU. Juan Tribble back for the Derek McLaughlin punt. And he's chopped down immediately by Corby Hodgkiss. Matt Ryan looking to throw on first down. Settles for the short man Tony Gonzalez. And he weaves his way out. Near a first down at the 41. He appears to have it. Gonzalez, one of 8 children. He has 7 sisters. Said he liked that. Liked being the only boy with 7 sisters.
I'll tell you, he turned out pretty tough for having 7 sisters. Now they're probably pretty tough too.
Said he's trying to take the leadership role with this young receiving corps as the 5th-year senior. Dealt with tragedy in the spring when his dad Antonio Sr. died of a heart attack just during spring practice. He was only 51 years old. L.B. Whitworth, a nice run into BYU territory to the 43-yard line where Quinn Gooch made another tackle. 15 yards on the run. You said at halftime they need to get the running game going, and they are.
Well, they're doing, and what they're doing better is they're sticking on their blocks, and some of those big bodies are starting to wear down the front of BYU. Good job. Excellent. Watch Gonzalez. See, that's how you see. You don't go down and roll it. You go down there and you try to take the guy's shins out and occupy him and let the speed of the running back take away the angle of the defensive back.
And the 7 sisters undoubtedly proud, and the 13 nieces and nephews. Brandon Robinson the catch. I really appreciated what Tony Gonzalez said yesterday too when we talked about his dad passing away in the spring. He said, my dad wasn't very rich, and our family for a long time struggled to get by, but he did everything he could for us children. He said he wasn't rich in money, but he was rich in character and in morals and in work ethic, and that's what I've tried to take away from my experience with him. What a wonderful thing to say about your dad.
That's his father's legacy. Absolutely. And he has. He's a fine young man. Really enjoyed talking with him yesterday.
Second and 8. Ryan was running out of time and threw incomplete in the direction of Taylor Saleh, who was born in Liberia. Justin Robinson had the coverage.
It's a huge series for the BYU defense. I just feel a big momentum shift that happened at halftime, and it's not coincidence, Sean, that the momentum shift comes from BC's ability to pound it on the ground.
Third down and 8. BC leads by a touchdown. They have the only score of this third quarter to take the lead. They trailed 13-12 at the break. Ryan with a lot of time. Swings it to the sideline for Whitworth, and he can't get away. Nice tackle along the far sideline by Ben Criddle.
Staffieri also, who's been hurt the past 2 weeks, playing linebacker, getting his reps back. They do a good job of keeping the ball carrier in front of them, taking proper angles, and knocking the ball carrier back so they don't have to think about going for it on 4th down.
5th punt for Johnny Ayers. You saw Bronco Mendenhall gesturing. He knows this is good field position and down and distance for a fake. They were playing it safe on the receiving end. And well done again by Ayers. He lofted it up, and Brandon Robinson caught it at the 4-yard line.
Awareness on punt coverage. If it's a fair catch, the Hawks or the runners are taught to go behind the fair catch so you can make a play like that and be aware of where you are on the field. Look at that. Both of them, 2 wide receivers going after the ball. Now, they almost knocked each other off, but they ran around the fair catch. They don't stop at the receiver. They locate the ball and make a play for your team.
Talk about continuity on the coaching staff, and Jerry Peter Custy, the special teams coach, has been here all 10 years with Tom Ryan. When you do the same things year after year, you coach the same way with the same terminology, Certainly much easier for the players to grasp, and that's what they've had going here at Boston College. Curtis Brown the catch, Kevin Akins the tackle. That's the entire staff, and every coach has been with Tom O'Brien for at least 4 years, and when you do it that way, you go to 7 straight bowl games and you win 6 in a row. They're the only team in the country that has won a bowl game each of the last 6 years.
Everybody speaks the same language, literally. Everybody knows the terminology, and they just keep plugging it in, and they communicate much better. And they're friends. They got a lot invested.
Here's a blitz. Beck hit as he throws. He dumped it off, complete to Nate Mickle. Paul Anderson, the safety, hit Beck as he threw it, but didn't throw off the pass, and it's a nice gain of 19 for BYU.
If you're going to blitz, you cannot allow a pattern like that to take so long to develop. Mickle comes from the far left split and has time to get across the middle. This is a nice job by everybody picking up the blitz and allowing Mickle to clear because he's one-on-one with the defensive lineman. And Sear, no contest. Brendan's trying. Brendan Deska's trying. No shot.
There's some breathing room for the BYU offense. A blitz again. They hand it off to Manasseh Tonga. He runs right by the blitzers and gets tackled from behind out at the 47-yard line. Wes Davis, a true freshman backup safety, made the play, but it's a 19-yard run for Manasseh Tonga.
I tell you, Brady Smith has a chance to make a play, but he gets caught on blocks. So you don't want to get tied up. See Brady Smith right here? He's got to be able to get off that block and see the big boy Tonga rumbling and stumbling down through there, running with power and purpose.
He is big, 235. Most versatile back on their offense, according to Coach Mendenhall. He can block, he can run, he can catch it. He's one of 6 sets of brothers on the team. His brother Matongi is a defensive lineman who is a very highly recruited player. Chose BYU over Oregon in large part because his older brother really encouraged him to do so. Coach the catch. Larry Anam the tackle, a 9-yard gain. And here's a quick report from Rob Stone.
You're taking a look at Eddie Keel. He went to the bench in a lot of pain. They really still don't know what it is, if it's his right knee or his left knee, because both were in pain. They're going with the old sports medicine approach of walk it off, Eddie, right now. So he's going to walk it off this series, and they're going to reevaluate afterwards. He got up into a little trot a while ago.
Give him some winter fresh.
I know Chris likes that walk it off approach. Johnny Harleen the catch in traffic. Tawan Tribble couldn't get him down. All the way to the 19 goes Harleen. Paul Anderson saved the touchdown. 1st and 10. Curtis Brown trying to get outside of the left. Boy, very nice variety of play calls on this drive by Robert Anai. Robert Francois and Dewan Tribble made the tackle.
Very similar to the opening drive of the ball game. Very systematic, detailed. They're running the ball. They're doing short passes. They see man-to-man coverage. You had Harleen catch the big one on a safety at man-to-man coverage. The big fella can run after he catches it, by the way.
And in his 2nd season with Coach Mendenhall, he came from Texas Tech, where he's the offensive line coach. The BC coaches said last year when they played in the opening game of the year, it was an offense that looked a lot like Mike Leach's Texas Tech offense, spread out all over the field, very wide splits in the offensive line. This year, they've gone back to more conventional offense, a transition that really started in the middle of last year.
Clock operator, please set the clock to 15 seconds. The clock will be started on the snap.
Former national champion offensive lineman.
Yep, at BYU,
yeah.
1984. Second and 6. Final seconds of the 3rd quarter. Brown spins down to the 6 with a 1st down. Robert Francois the tackle. And as we end the 3rd quarter, the Cougars are looking for a tying score. Or Tor, depending on where you're from. They'll just let the clock run out here. Take it to the other end. 6 yards from a tie game as we go to the 4th quarter. BYU in Chestnut Hill for the first time ever. It's been a memorable afternoon on the Heights. Back at Boston College, where the Eagles took their first lead of the game with the only score of the third quarter, a touchdown and two-point conversion. But now BYU looking to get even on the first play of the fourth quarter. An impressive drive. First and goal from the 6. Boston College a blitz. They swing it out. And an easy touchdown for Bakapuna. Fui Bakapuna. The sophomore from Glendale, Utah, got a good block from McKay Jacobson. And that was about as easy a 6-yard score as you could hope to have.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Nick Larkin got held because he was supposed to peel off on Fui, but the offensive lineman grabs the inside part of the jersey. Larkin can't get away, and see him, he's grabbing his chest saying, he's holding me, coach, he's holding me, ref. No go, no hold, touchdown.
Jared McLaughlin to tie the game. He made it look easy, easier than we've seen in a couple of other instances today on the Boston College side. So an impressive response by BYU, trying to prove a point. And this is a program with 14 finishes in the top 25 in the last 30 years, but up until last year when they went to a bowl game, there had been several down years. I think you can tell with the talent level, the coaching, regardless of the outcome today, this is a BYU program that is on the way back in the right direction.
Well, obviously they're good coaches, but their talent is much better, and it starts with John Beck and the way he distributes the football. But the thing about this BYU football team is that they're a physical football team. In the past, BYU has been known as finesse. Well, this team is physical, and it's no accident that there's a little more offense in this game because both teams has come out and established the running game, and they've done that by setting up the passing game.
And Vakapuna really helped set that physical tone. He just returned from his 2-year LDS mission to the San Diego area in January. A lot of time when players come back, it takes them a long time to get back into playing shape. They generally do not work out at all. When they're on the 2-year mission, they're doing the church's work. They're not at the health club working out. They said he came back ready to go, set the tone in the spring, carried it into the fall. Had some punishing runs last week in their win against Tulsa. And you can see he does bring a lot of energy and intensity to that sideline.
Yeah, he and Tonga. Tonga's been bringing some power to that running game.
Evan Mendenhall said that Fui has really helped change the identity of the team. He's the oldest of 8 children. Here's Jeff Smith in trouble. And down at the 15-yard line. Former New England 200-meter champion in high school last year at Silver Lake in suburban Boston. Couldn't find any running room there. BYU led by a point at the half. The only score of the third quarter, the 1-yard plunge by Matt Ryan. They went for 2 and got it on a pass completion. BYU responds. An 8-play drive, 96 yards after they were backed in by the punt. Took only 3:21 to go the length of the field. 20 apiece in the opening seconds of the fourth quarter. Now Matt Ryan, the nephew of a former BC quarterback from the early 80s, John Lockery, dumps it off. Andre Callender upended at the 32-yard line. There's a flag in the secondary in the middle of the field. Dustin Gabriel made the tackle for BYU. It stands. It's an 18-yard pickup.
Usually a holding call when it's called that far back.
Holding, number 43 of the defense. The penalty is declined. First down, BC.
David Nixon, but the penalty is impeached. And here it's a back and forth game, and it's BC trying to go back into the end zone. L.V. Whitworth, a 16-yard rumble. Quinn Gooch got him down on the field turf.
Well, it's interesting how they've been establishing the run is they've been able to bring in a fullback, Mark Palmer, and run from the I-back position. And when they run from the I-back position, that's where they're able to double team and put their big bodies on the smaller bodies of the BYU defensive front.
Woodward, the bigger of the two backs, more of a downhill runner. Callender a bit more speed. Ryan has a man open off the hands of Brandon Robinson. The throw a little bit high, but it certainly could have been caught by the 5'10" Brandon Robinson, sophomore from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, Matt Ryan showed me something right there. What he showed me was he looked off the coverage on the left. He comes back to his number 2 vertical from the right. See, he's looking left, knowing right where to go to Robinson. And all you got to do is make a play. That ball had a little heat on her, though. That was zinging. Sling that rock.
2nd and 10, Boston College from its own 49. Calendar, some nifty footwork. Quinn Gooch seems to be in on every tackle here in the second half. The junior from Tucson, Arizona, made the tackle. These are 2 national programs. I mentioned earlier BYU, of course. Very large private university affiliated with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Boston College, a Catholic institution. And Tom O'Brien says the move to the ACC has really helped their recruiting spread throughout the country. He went from a Northeastern League, he said, in a Northeastern team. Now we're a Northeastern team in a National League. Ryan has a man wide open. It's the tight end, Trey Koziel, the 4th tight end, who refuses to go down, to the delight of the Eagle fans here in Alumni Stadium. 20 yards on the completion. Brian Keel the tackle.
Well, this is set up simply by this. If you're able to dump the ball short to the back, there's always somebody that's going to be behind. And right there, it was just, they set him up, and Matt Ryan was able to throw a nice strike to Trey for the first down.
His first catch of the season. Ryan's completed passes now to 14 different receivers this year in just the 3rd game. Andre Calendar the run. We talked at the beginning of the telecast, Chris, about this big physical offensive line for BC. And it looks like on this warm day that size might be starting to wear out the defensive
It starts
front.
right here with the big fella Beekman. Watch him and his explosive power getting off the line of scrimmage. And see that? Finishing plays, coming off on a combo block and carrying the defender and the ball carrier down the field. When you have that ability and vision as an offensive lineman, it equals big plays because you're able to block one guy, then go get another.
Play action fake. Ryan is going to run. Ryan taken down to the 9-yard line.
Well, he's
9-yard gain for Matt Ryan, tackled by Kelly Popinga.
He's showing his mental toughness, Sean. As you can see, when he's running, he's limping, but he's giving everything he has to his boys in the gold helmets. This is where they had a big play set up in the red zone last time. Simple bootleg. Nothing there. And this is Matt Ryan. You see him, he's not really running as hard as he can because he can't. He's running 1 foot flat-footed, but he's a tough guy.
We asked him about his injury yesterday. He said Coach O'Brien won't let us talk about that. Very disciplined operation run by Tom O'Brien. There's Whitworth. Bounce back near the 5-yard line. We saw that a lot yesterday when we chatted with the players. Matt Ryan said I'm not allowed to talk about injuries. We talked to Jolon Dunbar about his blocked extra point in overtime last week against Clemson. He said Coach O'Brien says we shouldn't talk about that. That's behind us. We need to focus on today. This is a military man, Catholic school education in high school, went to the Naval Academy, coached at the Naval Academy, and he's all about discipline.
Yeah, the interesting thing, all those guys are communication majors. I said you need to get some work on your communication then.
2nd and goal, another play action pass for Ryan. Can't find anybody, lofts it toward the end zone, incomplete. Ryan was very close to the line of scrimmage when he flipped it. The officials are talking about that along the far sideline at the 6-yard line.
And see, they're going to the well once too often. BYU is a smart football team and a veteran football team. They got fooled on the bootleg at the other end in the red zone. They come back to back-to-back bootlegs after a run. They don't get it.
The line of scrimmage was the 6 and pretty much right on the 6. Yeah, he was behind the line. But it was close. The officials did talk about it. So now 3rd down and goal. They don't get in. The spotlight goes back to Ryan Oliger in all likelihood. Trying to respond to the 96-yard BYU drive. Handoff Calendar. He's not going to get there. Stood up at the 3. He drives to the 2.5. Cameron Jensen in the middle of the action for the Cougars. Crowd wants Tom O'Brien to go for it, but he's going to send Ryan Oliger back out there.
Good move. It's a good move.
Well, Rob Stone told you about the lack of his favorite kind of gum, and as he's practicing there, he has 3 sticks of gum. It's a sticky situation. Yeah. This is a 20-yard field goal, and wouldn't you know, the way Oliver's day is going from a very hard angle. Now, if he hits the snap hook he's hit on the extra points, it should be perfect from this angle. He's missed 2 extra points. If you just joined us, there you go. Good for him. And the crowd roars. 20-yard field goal by the junior from Newark, Delaware, Ryan Oliver. From a kicking family, his brother John kicked at West Virginia, Jesse at Murray State. They know how to put it behind them. Enthusiastic crowd enjoying an absolutely perfect mid-September afternoon on the heights of Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Ryan Oliver kicks off after his 20-yard field goal has given Boston College a 23-20 lead over BYU. McKay Jacobson does not get to the 15-yard line. 14-yard line, 1st and 10. And BYU do it again after that nifty 96-play drive on their last 96-yard drive on their last possession. Curtis Brown shoved out of bounds by Tyrone Pruitt.
A couple short notes right there. Be careful, because that was a low snap again. That could be a factor late in the game. And the other thing is, with 9:37 left, it's a field goal possession game where if those 2 extra points were connected, it would have been a touchdown possession game. Just something to keep your eye on as the clock winds down.
Nine catches now for Brown out of the backfield. Manasseh Tonga takes the handoff. He got walloped by Silva. Jolon Dunbar also in on the play.
Joe Long's hanging on. And the assassin, Silva, comes in. If he wraps his arms, and he's going to be a really good tackler. Right now, he's just a headbutter. Watch Jolon. Jolon's holding on, does a good job bringing his feet, and here comes Silva to clean up the pile. And his head is ejected back that way. And when you eject the head opposite of where he's running, that's a good hit. Good thing the head is still on the body.
Silva's only 5'11", about 210, from East Providence, Rhode Island. Played on a couple of state championship teams in high school in East Providence. Throw a little bit too high. Intended for Bryce Mawika. Silva had the coverage. He was not highly recruited, despite putting up big numbers in high school on offense and defense. It wasn't until January, after his senior football season, that BC came along with a scholarship offer. The only other D1 offer he had was from Indiana. He was looking at going to Brown in his hometown, or Penn in the Ivy League. Took the offer from BC and has become a standout on their defense.
It reminds me of Bob Sanders when Bob Sanders was at Iowa, all-pro safety for the Colts now. That type of hitter.
Another low snap handled by Beck. He has a lot of time, and he has a receiver, Tonga. First down, Cougars across midfield.
Number 1 rule of man coverage, especially a linebacker on a running back. Do not, I repeat, do not look back at the quarterback. When you look back at the quarterback, Tonga was able, Francois looks back at the quarterback, but Beck has awareness knowing that he has an outlet, and Tonga running there. Francois took a look back at him. As soon as he looked back, Tonga started pulling away.
Well, he said au revoir, Francois, as Francois peeked at the quarterback. From the 48 of Boston College, another short pass, this one to Harleen. And the tight end goes to the 43. He did a 2-year mission in New York City, where he spoke largely Spanish on his LDS mission. Harleen is the son of a BYU history professor. 2nd and 6. 3-point lead for Boston College. 8 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Beck throwing one deep, and has a receiver. It's caught by Matt Allen. 1st and goal for Brigham Young at the 5-yard line.
Angles, baby. Angles. Matt Allen has speed. John Beck's thrown to a spot. That spot's called the post. And you're going to watch Taji Morris try to make a play and come underneath. If you come underneath, you better be able to get that football, especially when you have no help deep. You cannot come underneath. If he stays over the top of Matt Allen, he can make a play on the ball. He comes underneath too early, big play, BYU.
Matt Allen, the reception, they marked it down at the 7-yard line. Allen is the cousin of Todd Heap, the outstanding tight end in the NFL. First and goal from the 7. A touchdown gives them the lead. Beck under center. That's been a rarity today. Some contact in the end zone, but no flags. Harleen, the intended receiver.
It's a nice little call by BYU. Little pick play. I love the pick play down there. Let's not pretend nobody runs it, because everybody runs it. You knew he was going to get 3 people out, and you're trying to get Harleen right here into the corner. Watch the pick come, and you're trying to flood an area. Watch the pick coming. The pick will come from this man right here. Coming in. There's the pick, and they almost had it. Everybody runs it.
384 yards passing for Beck, his 12th career game of 300+. Hand off to Brown, in trouble and stacked up back at the 9. He lunged forward to the 8. Robert Francois, the primary hit.
Yeah, Robert Tex Francois has stepped up and played big in replacement on defense for Toll. And that's what you like to see. Guys getting their opportunity, Sean. They come in and start making plays. Had a little mishap on the coverage with Tonga, but other than that, it's been all over the field.
Big play here. Will it be a touchdown in the lead for BYU, or they have to settle for a field goal try? Beck handles the snap. Throws it up for grabs. Batted down by Dewan Tribble. That was double coverage on the tight end, Dan Coates.
Yeah, that's a bad read by Beck, because Tribble was kind of baiting him. And Tribble actually has a play on the ball. If he get a little more springs, he would have had a play on the ball. But Tribble did a good job of holding the coverage underneath, then fading back to the corner to help on Coates. Go get it now, Tribs. Go get it. And Coates went up there, and Coates got a good up. Good job.
There's Jared McLaughlin. 2 out of 3 today. This is a 25-yard try. Had a career-long 50-yarder in the first half. For the tie with 6.5 minutes to go, it's 23 apiece. The offenses were sluggish in the first half. They're starting to take control of the proceedings here in the second. $23 apiece, 6:33 to go. Jared McLaughlin kicks off. And went out of bounds. He might be getting a little leg weary. He's been busy lately.
Yeah, that mental error right there. And as a kicker, you know, you kick the ball. Team's counting on you. You set up field position on a weary defense, Sean, because Boston College's offensive line, the big fellas, have started to establish that line of scrimmage in favor of themselves.
Have a typical Matt Ryan day. Relatively mistake-free. The interception was at the very end of the half when they were in a hurry-up situation. His only interception of the season so far. Coaches talk about his competitiveness. Part of what makes him the outstanding quarterback that he is. Dana Bible says his best football is still ahead of him. Ryan dumps it off short to Mark Palmer, the fullback. Folks out in BYU's neck of the woods remember him. He's a native of the state of Utah and actually played at the University of Utah. But when Urban Meyer arrived, they pretty much had no use for fullbacks in their offense. So he transferred here. He's from California, but spent time in Utah playing for the Utes.
I'll tell you, he's been a factor in this football game with his blocking, and Dana Bible has chosen to go to a 2-back set, or 2 backs in their offense. Not necessarily a set, but in their offense, it's been effective.
Ryan to throw on 2nd and 2. The check down there again to L.V. Whitworth. Great effort after the catch. He made it out to the 50-yard line. Always giving a great effort is Rob Stone.
Well, Ryan says that the injured ankle has actually improved his play. It's forced him to adjust to the speed, the tempo of the game even quicker. It also puts a little more emphasis on him to make the proper reads and see all the proper adjustments to make for his team. Additionally, he said he throws the ball better because he's concentrating more on setting his feet and planting. It's amazing how focused you can be when you only have one good ankle and you got some linebackers and defensive ends coming at you with bad intentions.
In honor of you, Rob, we'll say he's been throwing darts today. Oh, missed the bullseye there. Almost into the hands of Ben Criddle. Ryan Purvis the catch for another first down for BC to the 38-yard line, and we're down to 5 minutes left in regulation time.
You know, one thing I like about Matt Ryan, Sean, is when he's in the pocket, his eyes don't go down looking at the rush. His eyes stay down the field. Watch his eyes. Take a look at him. His eyes are always staying down the field. Never looking down, never feeling any pressure, just looking downfield.
Back to the run with L.V. Whitworth. He fumbles. And it looked like the Cougars caught it right out of midair. Jan Jorgensen has it at the 31-yard line.
Right there, Boston College, if they end up losing this ball game, a lot of it they can look at themselves on blown opportunities and turnovers, missed kicks and turnovers. See right here, that's Gooch has been active. What awareness to get in there and rip that football out, being the second man in on the tackle, and good hustle by Jorgensen coming in and making a recovery.
Third turnover, second lost fumble to go with the one interception. And the BYU offense with a chance to take the lead. They've been clicking here in the fourth quarter. The way it's going, it looks like the last team to touch the ball might win it. Tribble, a nice play. Beck held it out there up in the air a little bit too long for McKay Jacobson, who has great sprinter speed, and Tribble was with him stride for stride.
And what DeJuan Tribble do this time? He was late. He didn't try to cut underneath. He timed it perfectly. And to me, if you have enough time to get your whole body in your left hand in front, the long arm, he might have had an opportunity to go up with two hands. I'm not going to complain about it because it's great coverage. Better decision making back at that corner by Tribble.
Trying to stay with the true freshman Jacobson. He graduated from South Lake Carroll High School in the Dallas area in December and was at BYU in time for spring practice. Ball behind Brown. Then he got a bump from Jolan Dunbar, the junior captain from Syracuse, New York. Grew up in the shadow of Syracuse University. His mom a custodian in the athletic department at Syracuse, but elected to come to Boston College for the chance to play linebacker. SU wanted him to be a fullback.
Yeah, Curtis Brown needs to recognize zone and sit it down, or he's going to get decapitated. Keep an eye on Akins, number 7. Remember, he's got speed on the pass rush. He's going to be right here. Keep an eye on him because he can bring it off the corner with speed.
Beck just 1 for his last 8 through the air. Big third down and 10. 4-man rush. He has his man. First down. Matt Allen, the junior from Peoria, Arizona, pushed out of bounds by DeJuan Tribble, but it's a 12-yard gain to the 43-yard line.
Yeah, precision. You don't see precision like this in this passing game very often in college football. Beck knows where he's going, throws the ball again before Allen comes out of his break. Allen's trustworthy with those hands and knowing where the sticks are, Sean. That's important. Run the route past the sticks to get the first.
Boy, when you only rush 4, you'd think the coverage would be a bit tighter than that. That's what Frank Spaziani was hoping for. Fui Vakapuna gets outside, breaks tackles. Could not get around Jamie Silva. Vakapuna to the 32. They're in field goal range and thinking about more than that after a 26-yard run.
Now they get 2 guys in one gap. Their gap integrity was violated. In other words, each guy has a responsibility to fill a gap. You got 2 and 1. Fui recognized it, bounced it outside, and used some good power and speed for a great run. A great run. Never goes down with the one hit.
Jolan Dunbar yesterday, he said that's been the biggest problem for the defense in the first 2 games. People missing their assignments, particularly in gaps. BC comes on a blitz, and they have a nice play called but can't execute as the pass over the head of Manasseh Tonga from John Beck.
Well, I love the sense of composure just from the sidelines, and to me it reflects Bronco Mendenhall, but the composure of John Beck, the quarterback, and the team seems just to feed off of that, where there's no panic, never too high, never too low. He's on it.
Play clock down to 2. Snapped at 1. Deep handoff. Brown got outside. Nick Larkin had his paws on him behind the line. Couldn't get him down. And Brown got about 9 to the 23-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, Curtis Brown went old school on him with the stiff arm. He threw the left jab. Got Larkin off of him. Again, opportunity and missed tackles. You got to make a play. Make a play.
Certainly within field goal range for McLaughlin. They'd like to move the chains, keep the clock running, and score a touchdown at the end of this drive. Tonga, the fullback, in front of Vakapuna. Plenty of power in that eye. There they go to the power. Vakapuna can't get out of the backfield. Francois and Keith Willis, the 2 players we talked about during the starting lineups, both backups who needed to come up big today for Frank Spaziani's defense, and they both did on that play. A loss back to the 27.
Penetration kills. Francois timed the blitz up perfectly, got through the gap, forced Fui to stop his feet. Pursuit gets there.
Jared McLaughlin to attempt a 44-yard field goal. He's 3 out of 4 today. This for the lead for BYU with 3 minutes to go. The wind not a factor at all. And it is nearly blocked. It's long enough. It hits the upright. Well, that's been the lucky end of the field for Boston College the last 2 weeks. It was at that end of the field where Jad Dean of Clemson's extra point was blocked in the second overtime last week, giving Boston College the chance to win it in the second overtime against Clemson. And now this one off the upright. Larry Anam almost blocked it. BC back on the attack with a chance to win it when we come back. Separation Saturday. BC and BYU cannot get separated from each other. Tied at 23 in a back and forth game. 2:53 to go. Boston College off the rousing win against Clemson in this stadium last week, trying to win another thriller before the home crowd to get to 3-0. Matt Ryan all day to throw, threw it through the hands of Andre Callender. Had nothing down the field. David Nixon had the coverage. BYU had the lead throughout the first half. They led 13-12 at the break. Here in the second half, back and forth they went. Vakapuna's touchdown for BYU created a tie, and then with BC driving apparently to take the lead, L.B. Whitworth fumbled, was recovered by Jan Jorgensen. In the ensuing possession, the field goal try hit the upright off the foot of Jared McLaughlin. BYU had the big edge statistically in the first quarter. It's been a pretty even game statistically since. BC has missed 2 extra points. They got one of those back on a 2-point conversion that was successful. Challenger the reception. The junior from Montreal gets BC a first down out at the 38. 2.5 minutes to go, and all 3 timeouts remaining for each team.
Even though they're in kind of a spread, no huddle offense, they don't need to be in a hurry. They have plenty of time, as you said, John. 3 timeouts and clock stoppage on first downs.
4th catch of the day for Challenger. Ryan again. They don't really try to rush him. The dump off to Callender. He's taken down by Chris Bolden. First time we've called his name today.
What you're seeing is BC's giving BYU a little bit of taste of their own medicine, spreading it around to everybody on the field.
In an up and down day for the kickers. The most recent miss by McLaughlin. Olgers missed the 2 extra points. They blitz and it paid off. Ryan had to dump it off. They were trying to set up a screen, but they blew up the timing on the blitz. Cameron Jensen in the face of Matt Ryan.
Cameron Jensen, the leader of this defense, coming up with pressure and big plays.
And now a huge 3rd down and a short 3. Ball just across the 45. They need to get just across the 47. It's almost 2 yards to go. Callender the lone back. Another blitz. Ryan throws it too high and almost picked off by Quinn Gooch. He was looking for Kevin Challenger. So it's 2nd down and less than 3. They went to 2 passing plays. There is a flag down on the line of scrimmage. Far side of the field.
Recognition by Ryan, saw man-to-man coverage. Challenger could not create separation, which allowed Gooch to come over and be a factor in the play.
Penalty against Boston College.
An eligible receiver downfield, number 80 of the offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
In all likelihood, a punt situation where they had 2nd and short, did not convert. Tom O'Brien tied with Joe Yukika, who coached here in the 60s and 70s, for most wins among Boston College head football coaches. He took over a program plagued by a gambling scandal 10 years ago and has made it into a consistent winner.
John, just some notes of people at home watching. McLaughlin has hit one from 50 going this direction earlier in the ball game.
Low snap handled by Johnny Ayers and a good punt. Made Mickle the fair catch inside the 10-yard line. Back in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts on ESPN2, our coverage presented by Pennzoil. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, and Rob Stone. A minute and a half to go. BYU from their own 10 in a tie game. Beck throws it out in the flat to Nate Mickle. Nothing there. Out of bounds near the line of scrimmage. Chased out by DeJuan Tribble. 2nd down and 9 after the gain of 1. Beck out of the gun. Another dump off short to Mickle. And another short gain. He slid down at the 15-yard line, and Beck will use the first of the 3 timeouts.
You know, it's interesting. You would think, even though they're backed up, they're not threatening the ball down the field whatsoever. Beck is trying to clear it out and get the DB back 7 of Boston College to drop off, dump off. But Boston College's back 7 is doing a great job of rallying to the football.
These 2 teams met on opening day last year in Provo. BC won 20-3, a game in which BYU threw 60 passes by Beck and threw for 330 yards. The problem was they had no balance, rushed only 16 times for 8 yards. And the 41 completions by Beck were a Mountain West Conference record. Well, they've thrown it 50 times. They've thrown for more yards, but at least they got a little more out of the run game today for the offensive coordinator, Robert Anai.
Yeah, a couple things, too, Sean. A lot of these dump-off passes, Curtis Brown has to have at least 8 or 9 catches. A lot of his catches are considered part of the run game in this type of offense. So even though they're not handing it off, they do use the short pass as their running game.
It does appear to be a program on the way back up. Bronco Mendenhall talks about one of the next steps is winning the close games. In the season plus under Mendenhall, they're 1-4 in games decided by 7 points or fewer. A lot of it is just players believing that they're going to get the job done and win when it's on the line. Of course, you help to bolster that belief by winning a couple of them. This would be a great opportunity here today against a ranked team on the road. They're 0-11 in their last 11 tries against ranked teams. Haven't beaten a ranked team since 1999. Kevin Akins put the heat on Beck. He had to dump it off. So with a minute 8 to go, Derek McLaughlin will have to punt, and Boston College should get excellent field position. You can see the improvement from this young, inexperienced Frank Spaziani defense.
Yeah, Coach Spaz was in the laboratory thinking, how do I get a pass rush? Well, let me put some speed on the edge. Akins brings speed to edge, and it pays off in a big way with a hard pressure on John Beck.
Tribble back to receive the punt. The first job is to catch it. He fumbled a punt in their opener against Central Michigan that led to a Chippewa score.
I'm just watching Origa down there practicing his field goals. Remember, missed 2 extra points earlier in the game. He's kicking a lot of balls.
They'll forgive him if he could kick a game-winning field goal. Booming spiral by McLaughlin. All the way back to the 29. Tribble and fumbles. It is bouncing free. Still free. Picked up by the Eagles. Survival Ross. Appropriately named as he gathered it in at the 35-yard line.
That's a second fumble for Tribble on a punt return today. One on a kickoff return, and this on a punt return. He does a good job of hitting it, but again, we have to learn how to secure the football when you run the ball nowhere. Put that ball in your body, your elbow tucked in, and you'll protect the ball. But Survivor, Johnny on the spot.
Yeah, he's actually Jeff on the spot. He's J. Survival Ross, but he goes by Survival Ross. The J stands for Jeff. He's from Liberia, grew up in a Civil War situation. Many times he felt as a youth as if he was running for his life. Well, he might have just saved BC's life in this football game. Matt Ryan on 1st and 10 from the 39, throws on the run, caught, first down, midfield. Brandon Robinson. Oliger getting ready. A chance to shed the memory of the nightmarish first half when he missed 2 extra points. Hopefully, for his sake, the work that he has done with the sports psychologist will help him deal with this situation. Incredible pressure if it comes to it.
Well, yeah, not rooting for anybody, but we all, both of you and I, both root for kids to do well, so we'll see what happens.
Low snap, and Ryan has to go down back at the 45-yard line, and he quickly calls a timeout. Their first of the second half with 33 seconds to go. The 17-year-old freshman Ian Doolin there to cover Ryan at the snap.
Well, Sean, Ryan Oliger right behind me warming up. We talked about his 2 missed extra points in the first half and that he's got this tendency to chew gum before he goes out for each kick. And remember, his usual gum was Winter Fresh, but they didn't have any. They only had Big Red. Well, guess what? The equipment manager happened to hear and see that spot, went running into the equipment room like a good equipment manager. What did he find? Winter Fresh is back, baby. He's got his right gum. Does he got the right foot for a win, perhaps?
Right on cue, popping the gum. He'll have the gums of his critics popping if he doesn't atone for these 2 snap hooks. Although this should look familiar to at least somebody in a Boston College luxury suite. Those look like Gene DiFilippo, the athletic director's tee shots at the nearby Woodland Golf Club. Low snap hooks to the left.
That is a good equipment manager.
Yeah.
Taking initiative, being proactive, helping his team win any way he can.
After the loss on the low snap, 2nd down 16. Oliger's career long is 47 yards. Ryan with a lot of time to throw, now some room to run. Slides down at the 46-yard line. Timeout, Boston College. 24 seconds to go and 1 timeout left. And it'll be 3rd down. Still spotting the ball at about 7 for a first down.
Now, just to keep in mind, you want to try to get the ball around. If you get it to the 30 or 31, you'll have his career long of 47. Usually the spot of the holder is 7.5 yards deep. So subtract that 7. That's where you want it to be. So they have about 15 yards, 16 yards to get to the spot of field goal position where they're comfortable with Oliger.
Bronco Mendenhall looking for that signature win. They had a very respectable season last year, but as he said, when you're at BYU, it's all about winning championships. They haven't won a conference championship since 2001. Chance to make a statement on Separation Saturday outside their league today.
Well, you have 2 downs. In my opinion, if I'm making the call, you have 2 downs to get the first down. Remember, the clock stops on the first down, and you have 2 downs to get to that comfortable level of field goals, which with a career long would be 47 yards. So you have 2 downs basically to get to the 30 and enough time to do that.
Saw Jason Swepson, the running backs coach, relay the play from Dana Bible to Matt Ryan, and a big play call it is on 3rd down at 8. 23-23 the score, 24 seconds to go.
They like to back on the check down right here, Sean. That's what they've been hitting with.
Blitz, and it is almost intercepted. It is on the ricochet. Picked off by Kelly Popinga. Halapaongo got a hand on it. And that is a huge play because now it's great field position for BYU. A completion away from field goal range.
This is zone blitz. Paongo is dropping and does a good job of recognition, getting his eyes on the quarterback and gets in the throwing lane, trying to hit Brandon Robinson on the crossing route. Does not get it, but recognition by Paonga to get his hands up on the three-step drop and doing what you're supposed to do in a zone blitz, taking away that quick hot route.
Another of those family stories, the Popingas, Brady, an all Mountain West Conference player at BYU and on to the Green Bay Packers. Now it's Kelly Popinga, the transfer from Utah State, in the right play after the big play by Halapaongo on the deflection. And uncharacteristic mistakes today by the Boston College offense, which prides itself on mistake-free football. That's their 4th turnover and 2nd interception.
That's a nice call to help defend a short pass in the middle, Sean, by Bronco Mendenhall. You can't defend it with your linebackers. Just drop a D lineman back in there and let him at least get in the throwing lane to disrupt sight. He did more. He took it to the next level by tipping the ball so his buddy could make a play.
One timeout for each team. They're about 19 yards away from that area where it would be a 50-yard try for McLaughlin, who's demonstrated he has plenty of leg, perhaps even longer than that. Made some 56-yarders in the warm-up at this end. Beck has his pass deflected by Kevin Akins, who's been terrorizing the backfield of BYU.
Again, that speed off the corner. Coach Spaz in the laboratory trying to create his pass rush, using his best 11 players.
Spaziani said Akins was a defensive back, but he kept attacking the line of scrimmage, so he said we need to get him close to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, look at
a glorified linebacker.
Right there, they're moving him around to try to create a mismatch.
He's attacking again, another low snap, good blocking up front. Beck has him in, 35-yard line, it's Matt Allen. They're certainly at least on the edge of a field goal opportunity by McLaughlin. 17 yards on the completion. Larry Anam the tackle. Last time out for BYU, which would make you think they need to try the field goal right here.
It's a big time throw. Now you can try the field goal or you can try a 3-step drop. All right, if you want to create something. No timeout, so the play has to be run to the outside so you have a way of stopping the clock. So you got one of two things to do. Either try a 3-step drop, which I'm Coach Spaz. I'm saying defend a 3-step drop in the outside routes. If you're Bronco Mendenhall, you might want to check the win, and you might want to go with your chances to try to win it right here with McLaughlin. It would be roughly a (52-yarder, 53-yarder) for the VICTORY. Victory, victory, victory.
51 yards. He made one from 50 in this direction with plenty to spare. Earlier in the game, missed the last time on the upright.
A 50-yarder right there. Got enough leg. Remember, Sean, the ball is being driven a little bit, and they have a tiny little long snapper in there. I'd put my big hogs in there and try to bull rush the long snapper, get my hands up.
In all likelihood for the win, Jared McLaughlin, the oldest kicker in the country, 26 years old. Jason Clark, the snapper. Jason Beck, the backup quarterback, the holder. It is hooking. It is no good. Short and off to the left. And again, Anam had penetration. The way that ball traveled, it looked like he might have gotten a piece of it.
Yeah, timing was off a little bit because of the high snap, and Jason Beck did a great job of getting it down and giving him a chance to take a shot at it. It's a good job by Jason Beck. That was a high snap. And a lot of times when you try to kick it extra or kick it a little far, you tend to snap hook it just like you're driving of the golf ball, Sean.
You're right about that. Both catchers have experienced the Kickers have experienced the ups and downs. Do they have time for one more Hail Mary, reminiscent of Doug Flutie's heroics in 1984? His receiver on that play, Gerard Phelan, is here at the game today with his son Alex.
He's sitting in that end zone too, isn't it? The direction they're going.
Matt Ryan, the ball at the 34-yard line, and BC has used the timeout to discuss what they want to do. Obviously, it's a low percentage play. In this situation, you're going to throw a touchdown pass to win the game. You want to make sure you don't do something stupid and turn it over.
Yeah, you don't want to get the trifecta against you. The sack, the caused fumble, and a return of a fumble for a touchdown. That's anti-trifecta if you're a BC fan. Good trifecta if you're a Cougar fan.
See what Dana Bible has in mind. I think these fans who have come to the stadium the last 2 weeks have gotten their money's worth. Double overtime win over ranked Clemson. First ranked win at home in the 10 years under Tom O'Brien last week. Now the serious prospect of overtime here today. Last play of regulation, barring a penalty. Ryan throwing it as far as he can down the sideline, and it is almost caught. Broken up at the 12-yard line. The crowd didn't like the fact that they were roughing up the receiver, Taylor Soleil.
Yeah, I think it's face mask, Sean. I've been in that situation where your face mask gets caught with his face mask, and it's a little too close for comfort, especially if the guy's eating garlic before the game, which some guys do.
In that case, we definitely would not want to get a face mask tangled with yours. So they tried to bring back the memory of Flutie and Phelan, and Soleil couldn't hang on. It's going to take overtime to separate Boston College and BYU. On this separation Saturday, our college football coverage on ESPN2 presented by Pennzoil. Mountain West Conference officials reviewing the rules of overtime. Certainly the Boston College team doesn't need it. They just played a 2 overtime game here last week against Clemson, which they won on a blocked extra point in the second overtime.
Play defense. At which end of the field shall we conduct the first period? We will start.
Each team guaranteed one possession. And BC elects to play defense first. They'll know what BYU does in its possession, know what they have to do when they get the ball. From the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. John Beck threw for 419 yards in regulation. 35 out of 53. A TD and an INT. They'll start on the ground with Manasseh Tonga into the middle of the defense in the arms of Robert Francois. A gain of 2.5.
Keith Willis also in on that tackle and pointed out we highlighted those two guys at the beginning of the game because they're replacements. And this is if you're Coach Spaz, defense coordinator for Boston College, you'd like to see guys stepping up and taking advantage of their opportunities.
Keith Willis's dad, also named Keith, 12-year player in the NFL, 10 with the Steelers, now the D-line coach here at Boston College, coaching his son. A Boston College blitz, the completion of Brown, and he got bounced back outside the 15. We'll see if they give him forward progress. They will to the 14. And a first down for BYU on a 9-yard gain to Brown, who's got to be pooped.
He's been a target for Beck, and Beck's hanging in there, recognizing blitz. Boston College was late picking up the blitz.
10 catches, 14 carries for Brown. He had 125 yards rushing and 82 receiving last week against Tulsa. Inside again, this time to Fui Vakapuna near the 10-yard line. Last week's game, Boston College got the ball first in overtime. They kicked a field goal. Clemson at 1st and goal on the 3-yard line. A touchdown, and they were the winners. The defense held. Clemson kicked the field goal to force the second overtime, and you saw what happened there. Snap low. That's been the case all day. Fade, corner of the end zone, and it is broken up by DeJuan Tribble, intended for the tight end Dan Coates.
It's a good job by Tribble, not biting on Curtis Brown on a short route, taking away the corner. Beck's thrown it to that back pylon. Dribble, not to be fooled, being a smart player, takes the deep, will break on the short. Now Dribble can go up and make a play here. He's had his hands on a couple. He's got to bring that in. It's a good defensive play, but make it a great defensive play.
3rd down, 6 from the 11-yard line. Beck, swing pass to Brown. He gets a block, but a great effort by Tribble again. He got off that block, stayed on his feet, and made the tackle. There is a flag down. The play stop for no gain at the 11-yard line. That block Tribble was able to shed, I think, was that illegal block around his ankles.
It's an outstanding play, and we talked about it earlier. You have to decline the penalty, make him kick the field goal, but an outstanding effort about, as a defender, you never give 1 for 1. Yes, you have a responsibility to bounce the ball, but go ahead and be a great player.
Illegal crackback block. Number 85 of the offense, 15-yard penalty. 3rd down will be repeated.
They decided to back it up, rely on the young defense. Zach Colley called for the illegal block. It would have been 4th down at the 11.
The only reason why I don't like this, Sean, because you always have a chance of a penalty that will give BYU possibly an automatic 1st down.
Yeah, I think I'd make him kick the field goal from a relatively tough angle, knowing all you need to do is kick a field goal to tie. Because they're not out of field goal position right here. It's a longer field goal. It would be about 43 yards from this spot. Now they give Beck a chance for more. He avoids the rush and throws an incomplete pass. As we said, a great decision by Tom O'Brien.
It pays off, and they're lucky there's not a flag because Akins comes in and gets a hand on the face mask of Beck, but they let it go.
So here's Jared McLaughlin.
And watch the hand come in Beck's face. Now, a lot of times I've seen this call. Here comes Akins. Look at that. See, they let it go. And I'm glad they let it go, to be honest with you. Let them play.
Well, here's McLaughlin. Jared McLaughlin from 43 yards. He's missed his last 2 from 44 and 51. A 44-yarder hit the left upright. Kick 3 today. Problems with the snap. McLaughlin has it, looking for help, throws a duck, and it's almost caught by Vakapuna, but it falls incomplete.
Well, that's 2 bad snaps, Sean. But at the end of regulation, Jason Beck got the ball down. This time, Jason Beck had to reach too much. They couldn't get the ball down. You got to catch it.
Cougar fans can't believe it. Jason Clark is the snapper.
That's 2 bad snaps. That ball, a holder does not need to work for the ball. Bad snap might have cost him in overtime because the timing was screwed up because of the high snap. Might have cost him there because it was a wide snap.
Well, all Boston College has to do now is kick a field goal in this overtime. They can afford to play it conservatively. LV Whitworth hanging on to the ball as he goes to the 21. Of course, if they settle for the field goal try, it brings Ryan Oliger back into the spotlight.
What you're doing, you want to make sure that you keep the ball in the middle of the field for Oliger so he has a good angle to kick, and obviously you want to move it and advance it as close as you can, but keep the ball in the middle of the field. You have a kicker that's struggling with confidence. You don't want to put him on any bad angles.
Made his only field goal today from 20 yards from a tough angle. LV Whitworth bounced back by Aaron Wagner. But it looks like they are going to play it very conservatively and put their faith in Oliger, who has been their place kicker for the most part for the 3rd season now.
And when he's missed today, he's missed left. And BYU has been able to get penetration.
3rd down and 5. Ryan going out of the shotgun here. He does have the opportunity perhaps to hand it to Whitworth. And he does. Crowd groaning. They think this is a little too conservative given the struggles of Oliger. A chance to put all of the negativity of the day behind him. Students try to offer their support. Well, they seem concerned. He's trying to fire up the crowd. He did that last week when he came out to kick the extra point that won the game on the final play against Clemson.
Let's see if that Winterfresh works over Big Red. We'll take a look.
Ryan the holder. 38-yard try. Oliger, no good. Looked like it was deflected at the line of scrimmage.
Low kick plus penetration killed it. Low kick plus penetration killed it. BYU's been penetrating against the field goal protection unit all day.
Russell Tialavea, backup nose guard, freshman from Oceanside, California, with a huge play. It was a low kick. And Russell got it. We'll go to the second overtime for the second week in a row here. On Separation Saturday, these two kickers have been separated from their nervous systems with the developments here this afternoon. Oliger's missed 2 extra points, and now what would have been a game-winning field goal. McLaughlin missed 2 field goals, didn't have a chance on the last try on a bad snap. They'll go to the other end of the field. It was BYU's choice to start the second overtime. They elect to go on defense at the other end of the stadium.
Now, if you're Boston College, okay, well, guess what? The playbook changes because we need to score a point to put pressure on them. So what you're going to see, Matt Ryan's going to throw the ball, and if I'm Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator, I go back to the checkdowns. That's been good for me. I'm going to go back to it.
Ryan has thrown for 331 yards. Play action pass. He's in trouble. Lofts it toward the end zone. He's not in trouble anymore. Touchdown by big play Tony Gonzalez.
That's trust, baby.
And here comes Oliger for a crucial extra point attempt.
Trust your teammates. It's a bootleg. It's well defended. The big play, Tony Gonzalez uses his body like a basketball player, blocks out Justin Robinson, and goes up and makes the big play, which he always does.
Now Oliger, who was the toast of the town after making the pressure-packed PAT to win the game last week against Clemson in overtime. That one is just inside the upright. Oh, my goodness. Wouldn't you think after 2 snap hooks, if you're going to miss the next one, it would be wide right?
Again, I think he's over-kicking a little bit.
Second touchdown of the day for Tony Gonzalez, and it is a 7-point lead.
It's a good snap, good hold. You see right there, there's no pressure. And it's something with his mechanics.
Oh, my goodness. A lot of times when you hook, it's that shoulder flying open.
Gonzalez doing a good job of using his basketball skills, boxing out Robinson, and going up and making a great play.
Coaches say he's had the knack for making the big play. Ryan breathing a little bit easier after the extra point. So now BYU must score a touchdown and must kick the extra point on this possession to force the third overtime. On first down, Beck handed it off to Curtis Brown. He swung down by Jolon Dunbar, the hero of the second overtime last week when he blocked the Clemson extra point.
I'll tell you, the back 7 has done a great job in run support for Boston College today. They're running to the football and they're getting off blocks. They can't do their job, but the front 4 is not eating up blocks.
Second and 8. Brown the lone back as Beck goes out of the gun again. 4-man rush from Boston College. Short throw to Michael Reed. They're fighting to get him down and due. Short of the first down by about 3 yards. Taji Morris first to hit him. Robert Francois came to his aid as well. They're in 4-down territory. A field goal attempt does not enter into the equation when you're down by 7 in the second overtime.
It also affects your play call. And remember, you have 2 downs to get 3 yards as opposed to 1 to get 3. Opens the playbook up a little bit.
Manasseh Tonga and Curtis Brown, left and right at Beck respectively. 3rd and 3. Beck under duress has the first down if they give him forward progress, and they will, to the 14-yard line. Curtis Brown tackled by Jolon Dunbar. 11 catches for the senior Brown.
That's been their money play right there all day. The check down to Curtis Brown. Too deep coverage. The linebacker can't come up and jump Curtis Brown because the linebacker has somebody sitting 13 yards over his head. He's got to stay behind, break on a little one. Good recognition by Beck. Good recognition by Brown of getting to the sticks.
Stats weren't going to be pretty anyway, but overtime, really a huge negative for defensive coordinators, the way the offenses continue to pile up stats, as both teams have done here. 1st and 10 from the 14. They need a touchdown and an extra point. BC blitzes. Beck's pass deflected and intercepted by Jamie Silva. The officials now saying no, it hit the ground. The Eagles are celebrating, thinking the game's over. Of course, it can be reviewed. Fans thought the game was over. The Eagles thought the game was over. It's a Mountain West officiating crew, and they say no, it's not over. Looked like Francois on the blitz. It was Francois who deflected the pass. Let's see, does Jamie Silva catch it? That looks like an interception.
Looks like an interception here.
The umpire immediately said no. And it will be reviewed by the replay official.
To me, it looks like his hands did get underneath between the carpet and the ball.
The umpire, Gary Crum, seemed to have a good view of it. He immediately said incomplete pass, but certainly Silva, with his reaction, thought he caught it.
Remember, it has to be indisputable evidence. Francois does a good job of keeping his hands and going for the throwing arm. Silva could end the ball game. Francois does a nice job of staying with it. Watch Silva get his hands underneath. I don't know, Sean, that's close to indisputable.
Now the replay official is out of the ACC, John Armstrong. So it's an on-the-field Mountain West crew. Terry Layden going to put on another headset, the backup headset.
The backup headset's got to be able to step up and perform when it's called on, just like Francois did today.
Well, it was an improbable ending in the stadium last week. Chad Dean, one of the best kickers in the country, with his extra point blocked for Clemson. Francois the tip. Silva's hands seem to go under the ball.
It seems that way again. It must be indisputable, and you can't really tell if that ball hit that ground, if his hands were separated. It looks like it,
well,
but I don't know the definition.
Hits the ground, you see it bounce back up a little bit into the chest of the player trying to dive and catch it, and that did not appear to happen here.
Well, here's my problem. I don't know what they define indisputable as.
Yeah, that's in his arms. His arms are under the ball. Here comes the official, Terry Layden.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed. It is an interception. The game is over.
Jamie Silva and Robert Francois combined on the game-ending play. I don't know if you can find a stadium anywhere in the country where they've had this kind of excitement. Double overtime 2 weekends in a row, and the home team wins in dramatic fashion on each occasion. Last week they unveiled a statue of an eagle here to start a tradition of rubbing the eagle before they run onto the field. It's been done elsewhere. It struck some people as a gimmick. Well, the players are starting to believe in the luck of that eagle. They're a double overtime winner over BYU, 30-23 the final. For Chris Spielman, Rob Stone, and our crew, Sean McDonough, so long from jubilant Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.